now. Let's check this out.
Antifa is real. Antifa has been around in various iterations for almost 100 years in some instances, going back to the Weimar Republic in Germany. And it's now been just under 1 month since we saw a far leftist murder Charlie Kirk, and we saw thousands upon thousands of people, other far leftists and people in positions of authority, people like nurses and pilots and doctors and HR departments, celebrating the death and the murder of Charlie Kirk.
So that's Jack Posobiec. He's got a tremendous following on Twitter. He's more along the lines of like an independent journalist.
That one of the bullet casings read, "Hey fascist, catch" on it. One of the other bullet casings right next to that had Bella Ciao written on it. Now, Bella Ciao is a song that is known in Antifa circles as the international anthem of Antifa. And all of us around this room that have studied Antifa, we're very familiar with these symbols. And Mr. President, I think the situation is getting worse. When you look at people like Luigi Maggioni, in his 20s, Thomas Matthew Crooks, of course, who took a shot at you, sir, the ICE shooter in Dallas, and now this Tyler Robinson, we're starting to see a pattern of more and more murderous violence. And this same violence is not just random. It is targeted assassinations, which are getting worse. And every single one of us in this room that goes out there, and obviously you as well, sir, and all the staff, we are now under that threat every single day.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think he's right about that. Again, that's Jack Posobiec. He is doing a live event. They're describing it as a roundtable on Antifa that's taking place at the White House right now. I'm sure Brian, when he joins us here in a couple of minutes, will have something to say about that. I think we got Sue. Do we have Sue now?
Yeah.
We had some, oh, well, that's good. I only hear you in one ear. I don't know what that means. Fred,
I can hear me in two ears.
Fred has my headphones on, and they only work.
Hear
my
in
old
one ear.
headphones only have
That's
it
right.
in one ear. But that throws me off because I don't know if the audience is only hearing you in one ear or not. Ethan, do you have any way of telling that? Because I can only, I don't have anything in queue right now, so I don't think it's me. I think it's, this is always fun to do live on the air. He's pressing a couple of different buttons to see if it changes anything. Testing, we'll see if that works. Does that work? No, that didn't work. So we'll just kind of move forward and hope that everything is okay. And we hope that everything's okay also. And I'm going to start with the biggest story of the day. I was kind of waiting, Sue, to get you on the air for the biggest story of the day because, you know, we talked about this yesterday. This is huge. Everyone wants to know how the hell Dolly Parton is because her sister basically killed her off yesterday.
Well, today's October the 8th, and obviously I'm here. Everybody thinks that I am sicker than I am. Do I look sick to you? I'm working hard here. Anyway, I wanted to put everybody's mind at ease. I appreciate your prayers because I'm a person of faith. I can always use the prayers. There's just a lot of rumors flying around, but I figured if you heard it from me, you'd know that I was okay.
She's so nice, too, because, like, the way I would have done that is my idiot sister's out there on X, formerly Twitter, telling people that I'm about to die. I wish you would shut up and I'm just fine, right?
Okay, but she's Dolly Parton.
I know. She's much nicer than I am.
Yes.
But, I mean, that was, like, going crazy yesterday. You brought it up, and it was all over Twitter. Is Dolly okay? By the way, I do hear Sue in both ears, Ethan. Works his magic.
Hey.
Does that mean the audience only heard her in one ear, too?
No.
Okay, you sure about that? Because that's weird to me. You're not sure about that. See, that's the thing.
You know what I'm sure about? I think they said that she was fighting kidney stones.
Dolly?
I think
Okay,
that's
so
what it
she
was.
did have, there's a medical situation with Dolly. It's just nothing that's going to, you know, get us to say farewell to Dolly this week. I think that's
Good.
a
can't
good
take
thing. No, I know. I don't think that would be good. Hey, you know, I'm seeing a lot of did you watch that baseball game last night, Fred?
Oh, I did.
Man, unbelievable. But I'm seeing a lot of ads for Soul on Fire, the John O'Leary movie.
Yeah, I heard one on Fox last hour on TV.
And on sports, though. I've seen, when I was watching the game last night, that Yankees game, it was funny. My friend Rick in Las Vegas sent a text that says, oh, look, isn't it great that the Yankees are going to get swept? And then 15 minutes after that, Aaron Judge hits that just boomer of a home run that goes off the foul pole. It was incredible.
It was a crazy game
last
night.
You know, here's the thing, and I think I'm getting off track for what I was going to talk about, but I don't like the Yankees just because, you know, they're the Yankees, right? It's kind of like you don't like the successful teams. A lot of people probably had hatred for the Cardinals when we were good. But here's where I draw the line. That other team that they're playing, they're from Canada. And I don't know what it is. I don't hate Canadians. I don't like Canadian sports franchises in our country. I'm a Christian white nationalist sports fan, I guess is what I'm trying to say right now. There's just something about it.
No,
now,
I get that.
Hockey's a little different, but then again, where would hockey in Canada be without hockey in America and the National Hockey League? Ethan, you tell me.
I'm trying
what the
to
hell would they have up there? Three teams, right?
When was the last time that a Canadian team won the Stanley Cup?
See, there you go. Florida.
It's been a long
time. The land
time.
of sunshine is winning
back
Stanley
to back.
Cups. Right,
they just raised their
exactly.
banner last night, which I also have some good news for you. We obviously I think this might be my favorite time of sports of the year because you got the NFL is really getting into the heat of the season.
Yeah.
There is football on for the next 49 days.
Oh, that's beautiful.
College
Even
and NFL.
on like a Tuesday,
49 days. Isn't that beautiful? So we have Conference USA football tonight.
That's
But
okay.
it's football.
I'll take it.
We have the playoffs for baseball, and the Blues season starts tomorrow.
Yeah, we
which you'll
mentioned
be having on.
Chris Kerber is going to come
Yes.
on a little bit later. Sue, are you as fired up about all that football as we are?
Yeah,
Man.
actually, I do like it, but you guys are a little more hardcore than me, and I have no fantasy.
No.
But let me go back to my original point here. I think I was talking about Soul on Fire, right? So the John O'Leary story, and for people who don't know it, we will familiarize you with it on Friday evening. John is fantastic. I've known him for a long time. He set himself on fire when he was a kid. He's lucky to be alive. All of a sudden, Jack Buck got wind of the story and started, the legendary Cardinals broadcaster, started visiting John in the hospital and encouraging him, and he completely credits Jack Buck with essentially saving his life. And John went on to have burns over a good portion of his body. He's got a great family, though, and a great career as a, he does the lecture circuit and all of that inspirational.
Speaker, yeah.
So, he's written a book about this. He's had a lot of coverage over the years on his story. Well, Hollywood came calling a couple of years ago. And one of the things I love about this is that, they filmed it here in St. Louis. That's not something that's typical for films, even that might have a reference to a city. They go to Toronto, they go to Georgia where the film credits are. But as John has, kind of told us here on the show, when the director came here to St. Louis, he's like, oh, well, we got to do it here. Anyway, he's on Friday. This is a long way of me saying I have been invited to multiple screenings of this, and I never was able to make one. But I bought tickets for Alexa and I. She really wants to see it because I've told her about John O'Leary. And we're going to go tomorrow night, and John will be on the show on Friday evening.
Nice.
Yeah.
There was an article that the Post-Dispatch put out about different locations where Soul on Fire was filmed. Did you happen to see this, Mark?
I don't think I saw the most recent one, no. They did do something earlier this summer on that, I think.
So
I might have seen it.
You mind if I share a couple
go
of
ahead.
them? Chaffetz Arena is one of the spots. It says there's a couple of big ones at Busch Stadium as well. The West Pine Mall. The school's Salis Center, the Shrine of St. Joseph. There's a couple of them, but it seems like they really went. I feel like you don't see this very often. They went to a bunch of different spots within the city of St. Louis to record this film, which, especially for St. Louis, is not common.
And the whole commercial for the film, which is a little different than the trailer. The trailer is longer, but the commercial for the film opens up with a shot of the arch, and then if you look real carefully underneath there's a bunch of gunfire and people that are shooting each other. I was waiting. I was waiting for Sue to respond on that
with
one.
a response.
If you also see the commercial or the trailer, there's a scene in which the younger John O'Leary is getting his diploma, and the real John O'Leary is the one handing him the diploma. So John's got a little cameo.
It says they also used John's parents' house for some of the scenes in
where it
the
happened.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Anyway, we got Brian
that's
Kilmeade coming up. I'll make some more shooting references in the city of St. Louis, unfortunately. So Sue will get mad at me. I really do have one that's unfortunate. That's coming up.
Looking better than a body has a right to, and shaking me up so that all I really know is here you come again, and here I go.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We've got some volume out there, but right now it looks like a normal afternoon commute. Southbound 55 slowing at Bates. Westbound 44 slowing at 270. Some volume there southbound 270. It's mainly moderate, but it's Page in pockets. Down through Manchester. 70 looks great out of downtown, but there is some volume headed for 370, although not too much. And westbound 40, just the beginnings of volume at Hampton. Now, we look great on the bridges downtown if you're headed into Illinois, but a slow go in the construction zone on 5570 between 111 and 255. This report brought to you by Point with an E Pest Control. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Annie here, and I can proudly say no more spiders in my home. I use Point Pest Control 4 times a year, and I haven't seen any, not a single one, since they've been in my home. Mention Annie and get 10% on top of any other special. Point Pest Control, 636-798-0023.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 39 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
Let Banner Construction show you what a difference James Hardy can make to your home. Banner's exterior design team will show you custom design options to transform your home into the neighborhood showplace. Banner is a preferred James Hardy and Pella Windows specialist. With winter just around the corner, now is the time to think about Pella Windows for energy efficiency and comfort. Call Banner Construction, 314-569-1050 to schedule your free in-home consultation, or the website bannerconstruction.com, and have a banner day.
Bold conversations, no apologies. The Mark Reardon Show, 97.1 FM Talk.
Well, he's always one of my favorites, Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana. This is a money soundbite from earlier.
I'm shocked that Smith, I thought he was smarter than this. I mean, I've got rocks in my driveway that are smarter than this. I want to have a separate hearing. This is serious as 4 heart attacks and a stroke. This is the sort of thing that happens in a country whose Powerball jackpot is 287 chickens and a goat. This doesn't happen in America.
Where does he come up with that? I actually heard him address that issue during his interview this morning. Brian Kilmeade is back with us. I love Senator Kennedy. Brian, how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing good. How are you, Mark?
I'm okay. What do you think about this stuff with Jack Smith? We have one of our senators here, Senator Hawley, who is one of the targets with what happened with the tracking. Now, I was pretty careful here yesterday, and I do think there's a distinction. Senator Hawley repeated time and time again at this hearing the other day that, these were wiretaps. That's not exactly what happened. They were tracking. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not egregious, and it's certainly more than questionable, but they weren't wiretapping. They weren't listening to conversations or reading text messages. They were tracking where these people were. For what reason, I'm not sure we all know at this point, but that's a difference between wiretapping, I believe.
All I can tell you is it makes absolutely no sense. And we had Brian Fitzpatrick on today, and he was a former FBI guy who's got the CIA oversight as part of his committee assignments. And I said, listen, what am I missing? I mean, could there be a real reason? I mean, if you're investigating Trump, you have to investigate Josh Hawley, and who knows what kind of pressure they put on the staff. And he said, no, there's no reason to do it. And you saw how incensed Lindsey Graham got. And he's suing. He's like, I'm going to sue Jack Smith personally. I'm going to be suing the CIA. So these guys really angry that they were one of the 8 that were being looked at as far as investigation of Trump. But think about this. What they tell us about Jack Smith, I think it was the governor of Virginia. They overcharged him by so much and were so aggressive they lost the case. Same thing with Senator Menendez. He lost another one. He goes in there and he goes all guns a-blazing. He overcharges, and either he gets his conviction and gets overturned, or he doesn't get his conviction. And it looks like he saw a career-defining moment with Trump, and he was flipping Trump's lawyers, bankrupting his staff, indicting numbers of people that they didn't have the financial wherewithal, had to cut a deal that made them look guilty. And if Trump didn't win, I think Jack Smith's goal was jail.
Yeah, by the way, this has been surprising to me because and I want to talk about Jay Jones here in a second, they haven't really done the same thing in that situation. But I've heard several Democrats, even Chris Coons and some of the nuttier ones, say that they have problems with this Jack Smith, tracking as well. So I think we're going to try to get to the bottom of that a little bit more moving forward. On this Jay Jones thing from Virginia, I've been covering it on the show. It's not getting a lot of national attention outside of Fox, Brian, but I am stunned. There's things that happen in politics where we shake our heads. This is one that really has me confused. You got a guy that essentially wishes death upon the children of a political rival, says some awful things in a text message exchange, and then maybe even some worse things in a phone call, and all the Democrats are standing with him right now. I mean, ordinarily, if this was a Republican running for, Attorney General here in Missouri and this kind of stuff got out, first of all, I would like to think Republicans would condemn it and say, no, enough is enough. But that's not even happening with Democrats right now.
It's not. And they just wanted radio silence. ABC, CBS, I think one of the networks did 61 seconds on it.
NBC.
And that's all.
Yeah.
So that's the one network that does something. Okay, who watched? Who cares? In Virginia, they say I can't get him off the ballot. It's too close. I can't lose that position of Attorney General. So I'm going to leave him on, get him to apologize, and have it blow over. The only way he would leave if Spanberger's number started dipping, which very well could, because they've been immediately – there's money on the right. Immediately, Winsome Sears started putting this in her ads, along with the bathroom. She's for transgenders in bathrooms of all types. Remember that. And she does this interesting of not answering the question, which means you're for it. And she does not answer the question about Mondami, a socialist. How does that do with your party? Where Ned Lamont, a Connecticut Democratic governor, came out and said he will destroy the financial sector and hurt my state if he actually wins. That's called. I know he's not up for election, but he didn't have to do that. The Democratic Party chair in New York didn't have to do it and say I'm not endorsing him. But you have no guts from Spanberger, no guts from Mikey Sherrill, no guts obviously from Hakeem Jeffries, Senator Schumer, and then you have no guts for anyone in Virginia. They just want to get to Election Day. And how bad is it, too, that over 400,000 votes have already been cast prior to this story being published?
I know. That's part of the problem with the early voting. I want to make it easier for people to vote, but that's one of the issues right there that this story breaks. And I would hope it's getting a lot more attention in Virginia with the local media, and I think it is, compared to nationwide right now. All right, the shutdown is at 1 week. I thought it might be over sometime this week. Seems like it's going to go on a little bit further. Any gut check or anything you're hearing right now on how long this is going to drag out, Brian?
Well, I had Langford on and I had Rick Scott on, and nobody had an idea. Rick Scott said at least another week. But I don't think anybody knows. You know why? They're not talking. There's no strategy. So I can't even say that we're trying to break this one or trying to break that one. I can't even get Republicans to admit they're working some vulnerable Democrats. So it's a stare down. And they want the president to stay out of it. Don't anyone kid you. The president is not being lazy about it. They want him to stay out of it.
Yeah, because
they want to just get into the nuts and bolts of it, and they don't want to cut a deal. They think it's a very bad precedent. We passed a big, beautiful bill. They go for tremendous lengths to do it. They took political sacrifices to pass it. No Democrats vote with it, and now they want to reverse it piece by piece, and starting with health care. They're going to ask for something else next. They're going to ask for the raise in the top bracket next. So, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to say, I got to make sure that Jon Stewart doesn't get mad at me and Jimmy Kimmel doesn't go off on me, so I'm going to act tough. And I see right through it. This is not where the hill they should die on. No. They should go with Big Ten to win the midterm. Yeah. That's what they should do.
Well, they think that the health care issue is one, and, I think to a certain extent they're right, that they tend to win in some of the polling on that, and I guess maybe that's what this is about. They have no leverage here in the shutdown argument. The Republicans, and I don't know if they're looking for a commitment down on paper to say, okay, we're going to talk about these subsidies moving forward, but I had seen some reporting that, the administration was at least open to that, but that's not an issue for right now. That's an issue for December. So, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of hope right now. But it is interesting the way that, Trump is kind of staying out of this.
Yeah, and I don't even think they wanted that one meeting in the White House. The president goes, yeah, I'll take a meeting. What the hell? And they go, no, Mr. President, don't do that. Right? We've been working on this. We should not be taking this meeting. There should be no negotiation. It's a clean CR for a reason. And then they got the one meeting when everybody was there. And now the president has kind of complicated things a little bit. He said, yeah, I'm open to talking about health care that helps people. And that's all Schumer had to hear. Now he says the president wants to compromise. And it looks like they're breaking. What he is the president takes questions for an hour. And he says he doesn't pre-think a lot of things. But he says he made it clear later, said, oh, yeah, I'll talk to you after.
Right.
I'll talk to you after you open up the government.
Exactly. Brian Kilmeade is back with us. Hey, I know it's a competing network, but this is a big media story. What are the folks at Fox saying about Barry Weiss taking over CBS News?
As a company, I have no idea. But as an American, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Because he's done a phenomenal job at Free Press. And it helps me get ready for the show, to read some of this stuff and listen to some of this stuff. I get guest ideas from them. But they're not conservative. She isn't. I just love the way they say the Free Press is a conservative outlet.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
It's not.
It's not conservative.
No.
What are you talking about?
It's just good reporting. A lot of the reporting is just really good.
And Mark, these people that would never hire us at CBS and these networks are outraged that Barry Weiss would come in as a Bulgarian on the outside to ruin this great, this historic channel, which has not been relevant for decades. And it's not been even contending since Walter Clark or Dan Rather retired. So, and their morning show is absolutely terrible and it's agenda driven. So they go in there and CBS got sued for a reason. 60 Minutes got sued for a reason. Their agenda driven magazine show that has ruined their reputation, if you ask me. And now you have somebody come in there and say, okay, I love what you did for 3 years. Can you bring that here? And instead of going along with it, they're outraged, panicked, and shaking. It's crazy.
I know, but I love it.
Arrogance.
I love it. We'll see what happens. I have high hopes and maybe too high hopes for some changes over there, but I am a fan of the Free Press and kind of what Barry is all about. You got anything set, Brian, for the Sunday night show?
A lot. I'm going to I did an expanded thing on Tim Green, the outstanding football player, broadcaster who has ALS. Now he's got a podcast. The AI has recreated his voice. His mind is great. He does it with his son. You're going to flip out when you see it. So I'm bringing it back for the Sunday show. I premiered it on Fox and Friends. I also have Bill Bratton, maybe America's most respected police chief, on what we're witnessing with the ICE eruptions, as well as Hugh Hewitt will be with us. Emily Austin will be there, and working on a few other things. But I really want to hear what you think of the story on Tim Green. If I tell you his background, a lawyer, number one pick to the Atlanta Falcons, All-American at Syracuse, a Rhodes Scholar, you'd say, who became a broadcaster, host of Inside Edition, and then has a successful law firm, real estate guy, father of 6. You'd say, what a perfect life. He has GQ looks like he could play Superman, only a more bulkier Christopher Reeves. And then he gets this, and to think that's not going to slow him down. I just think that a guy like you could really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Very inspirational.
One Nation airs Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Central here in St. Louis. Brian, have a great week. We'll talk next week.
Go get him.
All right, take care.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Roads, there's an accident now southbound 270 near Ladue Road. It's actually a little south of there. And they had the right center lanes blocked, and traffic is stacking up behind that. Yep, they still have the right center lane blocked and the shoulder. So this is causing a delay back up to at least Page. And northbound is already slow, headed for 70. Now, southbound 55, that's slowing at Bates in the construction zone. Westbound 64 is starting to line up. It's close to Kings Highway, more like the Science Center out through the Interbelt, which has some moderate volume, headed for 64. And 70 looks great in the city. It's a little moderate volume out at K and at Wentzville. And 64, some moderate volume on either side of Prospect. Now, if you're headed into Illinois, no problems on the bridges downtown, but volume on 5570 due to road work between 111 and 255. Traffic brought to you by Barron Mirror Glass and Door, and they have the largest, most beautiful showroom in all of St. Louis. The latest, most custom designs. It's in Chesterfield Valley, and you'll see why they say creativity unlimited, quality unsurpassed. I'm Sue Thomas with Traffic, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Thank you, Sue. We have baseball going on right now. The NFL will be back in play on Thursday. And I heard Ethan just told me at the beginning of the show, I guess for the next 49 days there's football. So even Conference USA tonight. I bring it up because I want you to use Underdog Fantasy, especially with football season in full swing. Underdog, one of the best places to play across the country. And you can play in Missouri. So it all starts by downloading the app. You do have to get started with that. I'm going to guide you into some bonus credits and bonus entries here in a moment. But if you're intimidated, you shouldn't be, because once you download the app, playing is very easy. You just have to choose whether your favorite players, it's the Eagles and the Giants. So you pick, Jackson Dart from the Giants or Saquon Barkley from the Eagles, and you pick whether they'll go higher or lower on stats, rushing yards, receptions, touchdowns, and more. You can play with as little as $1, and you can win up to 5,000 times your money. So here is the bonus offer. You download the app, you sign up with the promo code MARKR. That scores you $100 in bonus funds or bonus entries when you play your first $5. Again, the promo code is MARKR. Underdog. Make plays, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Drury Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Drury Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. One question I'm always asked is, how did you become the largest injury firm in the world with over 1,000 attorneys and $25 billion in verdicts and settlements? One way was our financial strength. Medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death in America. To prosecute a typical case costs up to $250,000 in case costs. We advance them all. Product liability cases can have similar costs with an army of lawyers on the other side. Automobile insurance companies have the resources to fight. Guess what? So do we. Many law firms simply may not have the financial firepower to work up your case the way you deserve. And we don't charge by the hour. No recovery, no fee. If you have a question about your case or wish to become a client, go to forthepeople.com on your mobile device or computer. 24/7. It's that easy. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
And at 3:35, this portion of the show is sponsored by Jerry Kelly, heating, air conditioning, and plumbing and electrical.
Your voice, your values. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
I love the talking points from Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, especially because the Obamacare subsidies that they're fighting about right now were temporary, and then they were extended as temporary, not permanent.
A one-year extension of the Affordable Care Act tax credits is not acceptable. It's a non-starter. Like, what world are these MAGA extremists living in right now?
The bottom line is that Trump and his people are trying to threaten, use these people as pawns, and say they're not going to get paid, they're not going to get back pay, and all of these kinds of things. They realize it. So I've talked to air traffic controllers. I've talked to many, and they resent how Trump is trying to use them.
Well, we'll see what happens there. It doesn't look like the shutdown is going to wrap up this week, and I don't know what kind, as we just talked with Brian Kilmeade, what kind of negotiations might be going on behind the scenes. But I do want to focus on the healthcare aspect of this and the claims that are being made about Obamacare, et cetera. And Michael Cannon is with us. He's the Director of Health Policy Studies at the Cato Institute this afternoon. Hi, Michael. How are you?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm good. So explain, if you can, just because I think this gets confusing even for people who might be paying closer attention. But when it comes to the claims about Obamacare and the subsidies and what the Democrats are asking for right now, can you explain that? Because what Speaker Johnson and the Republicans will say is, yeah, this is certainly an issue, but it's an issue of policy that should be discussed in December, not with a CR and a clean CR that you all voted on in the spring anyway. So break that issue down if you can for me.
So Obamacare, when it took effect in 2014, doubled or tripled premiums for a lot of people because it loaded up health insurance with a lot of things, a lot of taxes and a lot of coverage that people don't want. And it provided subsidies way back in 2014, starting way back there for people making, below $128,000 per year. So if you're above the poverty line and below that line, moderate income people, you get subsidies to help afford this overpriced coverage. And that's not what we're talking about today. No matter what Congress does, those subsidies are still going to be there. But what we're debating today is the Democrats said that those subsidies weren't enough. Obamacare made things so expensive that we needed more money. And so what Democrats did in 2021 and extended through the end of this year are subsidies for people making beyond $130,000 per year, all the way up to $600,000 per year. We are talking here about Obamacare subsidies for the wealthy. And the reason Democrats need to offer people making $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 per year. Some of them can get a subsidy of $7,000. The reason Democrats want to protect those subsidies is because they know that Obamacare is overpriced junk. It's overpriced junk, and if people see the full premium, they're going to say, forget it, I don't want to enroll in this. That will reveal Obamacare's unpopularity. Congress will want to reopen it, and Democrats want to avoid that. So they just want to keep throwing money at this to numb consumers to the pain of Obamacare. And it is ridiculous that we are even talking about subsidizing people earning $500,000 per year.
Yeah, it is. And unfortunately, a lot of people aren't even hearing the reality of the discussion because, the legacy media isn't telling the whole story. When it comes to the subsidies, how are the subsidies applied? I think what you wrote in your piece is that it's something, the government basically sends checks to the insurance companies. You're not getting money in your account to use. It's basically a deduction, and then the insurance company gets the money.
One of the deceptions that Obamacare's authors baked into the law was calling these subsidies tax credits, which sounds great. It sounds like they're tax reduction. They are not. You send the same amount of money to the IRS, and then they send a check to an insurance company, but call it a tax credit to you. And the way it works is Obamacare caps the amount that you have to pay in health insurance toward your Obamacare plan, and it caps it as a percentage of income. And whatever is the difference between that percentage of that amount of your income, that dollar amount, and the premium, the government pays the difference. And so since the government is paying 100% of that difference, no one really has much of it. That is for a benchmark plan. And so the premiums for Obamacare have been going up and up, and the subsidies increase with them. And that's why there's no reason not to let people purchase insurance outside of Obamacare, because if premiums go up for the people who remain in Obamacare, they won't have to pay any more. They'll just, the subsidies will go up with the premiums. But if you let people go outside of Obamacare, listen to what the Congressional Budget Office had to say about letting people buy insurance free from Obamacare. What they said was that most people in the Obamacare exchanges and the uninsured people who are sitting out the exchanges would be able to get comprehensive health insurance, maybe with lower deductibles and broader provider networks, so better health insurance on those dimensions than Obamacare, at a premium that is up to 60% lower than than the lowest cost Obamacare premiums. What that means is we could be making health insurance affordable for most of the people in the Obamacare market without any government subsidies. Never mind subsidies up to people earning $500,000 per year. We could allow them to get health insurance, afford health insurance on their own without having to rely on taxpayers. All we have to do is give them the freedom to choose their own health plans. Democrats are terrified of that as well, for reasons I could explain.
Yeah, well, so the great, one of the great ironies here, I think, is when I was talking about this on the radio 13 years ago, or whenever they were trying to jam this, down our throats, I was spending a lot of time with former Senator Claire McCaskill of Missouri. And, the goal, and I understand a lot of American people were frustrated, premiums were going up. Well, I was told time and time again by President Obama, Democrats, Senator McCaskill, that premiums would go down, right? Our premiums would go down. Well, that never happened and never was going to happen the way they manipulated the market.
That did not happen. What they did was they shifted the premium from the premium payer to the taxpayer. And when you do that, the price goes up, not down. And the price of Obamacare coverage has gone up so high at this point that Democrats feel like they have to subsidize people making $200,000 a year, $300,000 a year, $400,000, $500,000 per year. And if you have to subsidize people making $500,000 per year, I got bad news for you. Your plan is not affordable.
I would say.
And I heard a clip. I heard the clip you were mentioning, or you had played earlier, where some politician was saying that someone is using consumers as pawns. It's Democrats who are using consumers as pawns right now. They created these subsidies so that they would disappear on December 31st, leading into a midterm election year.
Right, that was by
because they wanted to make these subsidies for the wealthy permanent. They didn't have the votes to do it, even when Democrats were controlling Congress and the White House, and so they made them temporary, expiring just before an election year, with the hope that they could then whip up opposition to. Whip up support for them by panicking people, using those consumers as pawns. And if Congress didn't reauthorize the subsidies, use it as an election issue to elect more Democrats into office. There's no way that an Obamacare supporter in Congress has there's any legitimacy to their attacks of using that others are using consumers as pawns. That is what every last Obamacare supporter is doing right now.
What is your position on this back and forth? We're not hearing it as much here in the last couple of days on whether or not illegals are getting health care at the expense of the American taxpayer. The Democrats say, no, that's not happening. That's not going to happen, right? That you guys are lying about this, and vice versa is happening right now.
Let me start by saying that I really don't like the demonization of immigrants that I'm hearing in this debate, because immigrants built this country. My grandparents were immigrants, et cetera. Okay? That's number one. Number two, I think the Republicans are right here not to demonize immigrants, but to say, hey, the Medicaid program is vulnerable to so much gaming by states, so many shell games and scams that states run to get more money out of the federal government, that, yeah, some of that is ending up subsidizing health care for undocumented immigrants, and it should not be, but that's because the federal government shouldn't be subsidizing health care for anybody, and we should stop singling out that group. And I blame Republicans for demonizing immigrants in this debate, and I blame Democrats for giving them the opportunity by compelling people to subsidize other people's health care, which leads to this sort of social discord. If we let people make these decisions for themselves, we wouldn't be having this fight over subsidies for immigrants, because we would be respecting people's right to make that choice themselves. You can't just point the finger at Republicans here. Democrats also bear much of the blame.
Michael Cannon, great to have you on. Great stuff this afternoon. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Take care.
Anytime.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
are still on the scene of this accident. It is southbound 270, just past Ladue Road. They've moved it from the right center lanes to the 2 right lanes, but the damage is done, and we've got a parking lot jam that goes back to north of Page. Well, there's also an accident northbound 270, just a little bit south of 70. So that's created a jam as well. Now, that one was actually kind of on the ramp, one of those ramps there to 70, but that has still left us with a jam that goes back through about Dorset. Now, that's the worst of it. Other than that, it's the usual volume. Westbound 6440 at Kings Highway, and that goes out through McCausland. 70 westbound, some moderate volume at Jennings Station Road. And 55 is slowing at Bates. If you're headed into Illinois, we're still good on the bridges, but traffic is slow, 5570 both directions between 111 and 255. That is due to road work. And there's an accident reported on 64, just a little bit east of 25th Street. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Service you can see, experts you can trust.
Hear that? Sounds like simple. No appointments. About 15 minutes to change your oil. Then out the door and back to life. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Simple.
Oh, we're finally at that time of year we can get outside and get in the yard a little bit. I love my fire pit, of course. Maybe, though, when you're outside, you're going to look at the exterior of your home, or maybe you're going to feel here in these mornings where we get down into the 40s, and you don't want to use the thermostat or the furnace quite yet, right? You just turn the air conditioning off, so let's keep the windows closed, and the house will stay warm enough. Or not if you have old windows. And I want to guide you into the pre-winter event, the pre-winter window event at Banner Construction, where you can choose from certainly a variety of energy-efficient brands and price points, but they feature beautiful Pella windows. Pella celebrating a 100-year anniversary this year. Banner is a certified Pella contractor. They have the team ready and willing and able right now to get into your home, do a free in-home design consultation, whether it's with the Pella windows or the James Hardie fiber cement siding, because they're an elite preferred Hardie specialist as well. So if you're looking at new windows, this is the time to get Banner on the horn for the pre-winter window event. 314-569-1050, the website, bannerconstruction.com, and have a banner day.
Join us October 23rd at Lit Cigar Lounge and celebrate 25 years with drinks from Lore Wine and Spirits, Old Dominic Distillery, and Rayburn Wines, plus live music by Pretty Weeds and food from Napoli Bros. Reservations at 971talk.com, presented by Rhino Shield and U.S. Men's Medical Center.
It's motorcycle season in St. Louis. Time to ride. When the road gets rough and you're injured in an accident, you need someone who's got your back. You need Kaufman Townsley. We're local, we know St. Louis, and we don't settle unless it's what's best for you. When it's not, we go to trial, and we bring decades of experience with us. Kaufman Townsley. Real people, real results. Call 314-500-5000. That's 314-500-5000.
Hey, Stewie, I'm hearing mortgage rates have plummeted. The Fed's making moves. Is this the moment where folks can start saving some money?
Annie, I'm so excited, and you should be too. This is a great opportunity. Now, there's numerous ways to go ahead and save money. One is go from rate A to rate B, reduce it at no cost with the bagel loan, and save $100, $200, $300, $700 a month. Another way is to reduce the term. We took a customer, went from 29 years left on the loan to 20 years. Their payment went up $35 a month, and guess what? They saved $170,000 in interest.
Does that mean we should wait, or should we act right now?
Well, that's a good question. People ask me this all the time. The Federal Reserve is going to cut the rates. Maybe I should wait. No, the market goes ahead and adjusts for potential rate cuts in the future. So the rates are typically lower than when the Federal Reserve actually does something about it. So go ahead and refinance now. Later on, if rates go ahead and drop, we can always refinance you for free again with the bagel loan.
Contact my friend Stewie at 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan and MLS number 226715.
With this season's drought and high temperatures, demand for new sprinkler system installs is at its peak. Even with a little rain in the forecast, now is the absolute best time to put a new system in place, setting you up for a healthier, greener lawn next year. Don't let your lawn go through another season looking the way it does today. Take control now, and you'll never have to worry about the damage heat and dry weather can cause again. Call 636-695-7800 or visit ProOutdoor.com to schedule your new system installation today.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at Progressive.com.
You're listening to The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
You know, and I think a lot of people are fascinated. I certainly was captivated in a very tragic way by the fires out in Los Angeles earlier this year. The Palisades fire in particular, that killed 12 people. And, you know, the images were just stunning. And they still are because they haven't rebuilt part or most of that area, and they're having trouble. I think I saw a story in the LA Times. I go to the LA Times every day. There was a school that was shut down from the fires that finally opened back up, so maybe some progress. But this was fascinating today. They held a news conference this morning, and I didn't know this was coming. I'm not sure how many people did. They've arrested a suspect for starting that Palisades fire, and it's an Uber driver that apparently set it days earlier. Now, at the time, I remember that there was some theory that there was a fire that was set in the aftermath of New Year's celebrations where they were, setting off fireworks and maybe something was smoldering. But they arrested this guy, 29-year-old Jonathan Rindernecht, who's actually from Florida, and charged him with a bunch of things today.
He is charged with starting a fire on January 1st, which is the fire that burned down the Palisades. It did take a week to reignite, but he is charged with starting the Palisades fire. He started it on January 1st.
So this is interesting, and this is the U.S. Attorney's Office, and they brought the receipts this morning. Usually you have the feds involved, and, they put the pieces together. This was a 9-month investigation with local authorities, but they really tracked what this guy did. They have, video images. They can detect exactly where that fire started. Listen to some of the evidence here.
The evidence is based on, you could see some of the key evidence, including the fact that he was the only person in this location at the time this fire ignited. We have no other indication that any other person was there. There were no fireworks at the time. We have several cameras in the vicinity that are there designed to detect fires, and this fire was detected almost right away by those sensors. So there's no indication of fireworks or other things that would have started this. He was the only person there. You heard about this music video and song he would listen to, which had imagery of fires, and you could see some of his thought process in the months leading up, where he was generating some really concerning images up on ChatGPT, which appears to show a dystopian city being burnt down.
That is Bill Asali, who is the U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California. And, yeah, what he referred to there is, I guess he had something on his phone or a computer that was from ChatGPT, which depicted a burning city. Now, one of the things, and this is kind of fascinating when law enforcement does this, but they had to recreate, to a certain extent, safely recreate the fire.
We went up and recreated a fire very safely with our partners with LA Fire, using butane and scientific process to create the fire behavior in the exact lunar time that the fire started, meaning the exact size the moon was, and as close to the starlit environment that fire started. So we could recreate scientifically a fire and see how fixed surveillance points saw that fire as it developed from other evidence that we collected.
You heard that previous bite referring to the music and the video for this French song, which is about despair and bitterness, and it shows a trash can being lit on fire. He had listened to the song 9 times in the 4 days before he set the fire. He went and he watched the fire grow. He took videos in a hidden place. He lived in that neighborhood, and he parked his car, and then apparently he contacted a former friend via Facebook Messenger at about 11:38. So they track all these things. At the base of the trail, there was a sign that said, "Danger, no fires, smoking." He walks up this dirt path, and they think he lit it just with a lighter. Because, again, there were some rumors that fireworks were a factor. They say, nope, likely a lighter from this idiot.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
That is nuts, Mark.
It really is. Some of the details are fascinating.
We've got an accident northbound 270 approaching 70, and they've got the right lanes blocked. It is the ramps 270. And then we've got the accident southbound 270. This one is just south of Ladue Road, and it's on the right-hand side. It's as far on the shoulder as you can get now, but we still have a jam behind it that goes back near Dorset. Now, westbound 6440, the usual volume there, Kings Highway out through McCausland. Moderate volume then in pockets between Lindbergh and Lake St. Louis Boulevard. 70 isn't as bad. Moderate volume Jennings Station Road and a little bit west of the Interbelt and at K, but again, just moderate. 55 southbound is pretty slow, headed for Bates. And there's some volume on the Illinois side. It's mainly eastbound 64 headed for 25th Street. We had an accident reported there. This report brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. For over 25 years, they have been St. Louis's trusted choice for doing homes over inside and out. Windows, siding, kitchens, baths, outdoor spaces. And they give you quality craftsmanship and lifetime warranties. LakesideRD.com. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
It is very, very easy to get a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. They're right here in St. Louis. They have a retail outlet in Chesterfield on the airport road. They do not sell portables. These are great quality generators that kick in right when your power goes out. And you know it could be from weather. It could be a storm, a tornado, ice storm, something like that. It could be the power grid, which was built in the 40s and 50s. It's old. It cannot handle the burdens of the population. So you can be energy independent from public utilities. And with a good quality generator like a Generac home standby generator, you need warranty work and maintenance. And that's what you're going to get from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. A free estimate, and they have financing available. Low monthly payments is just a phone call away, 314-499-2020. The website, Generator, supercenterofstlouis.com.
Celebrate the spooky season with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129. You can take 15% off your air duct and dryer vent cleanings. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com and take advantage of the saving.
Is your car still under warranty? No, not anymore. My mechanic just suggested an extended service plan from Ox Car Care. Ox Car Care? Yeah, Ox will cover repair bills if anything happens to the car. New brakes, transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait, you pay nothing on repairs? Ox gets it fixed? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance?
Yeah, you don't pay. Ox pays. Ox even has a 30-day money-back guarantee and is A+ rated on the BBB. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike those other warranty companies.
The last thing I need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-234-0633. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care. 800-234-0633. 800-234-0633. Or go to oxcarcare.com.
Annie Fry here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They are the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
It's a Wednesday afternoon edition of Sue's News coming up after Fox News.
It's tense on Capitol Hill. Lisa Brady, Fox News, on day 8 of a government shutdown with both sides still dug in.
You're a complete and total embarrassment. Yeah. You're embarrassing yourself in your district right now.
That's House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries as New York Republican Congressman Mike Lawler asks why Democrats won't support a possible 1-year extension of Obamacare tax credits. Lawler noting some House Republicans willing to back it.
How many votes does it take in the House? 218.
Are you mathematically challenged, bro?
No, I think you are. You have 215 Democrats. You could all sign on to this today.
Democrats have been demanding talks on the subsidies in order to pave the way for ending the shutdown. President Trump holding a roundtable event on what he calls an epidemic of left-wing violence.
It should be clear to all Americans that we have a very serious left-wing terror threat in our country.
He points to Antifa, recently designated as a domestic terror group.
And other far-left extremists have been carrying out a campaign of violence against ICE agents and other officials charged with enforcing federal law.
The Attorney General vowing to dismantle those groups. Some Democrat city and state leaders accuse the president of fueling protests and chaos with his policies. The president also telling reporters talks on a Gaza peace plan appear to be going well in Egypt, in that he may travel to the Middle East this weekend if there's enough progress. However, just getting reports of a possible snag over Hamas weapons. A 29-year-old man is now charged with setting the Palisades fire in California, the most destructive in L.A. history, earlier this year.
We will prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he intentionally started this fire. And maliciously. That is what the statute that we charged him requires, and that is what we prove.
Acting U.S. Attorney Bill Asaley says Jonathan Rinderknecht set a fire on New Year's Eve that burned underground after being suppressed by firefighters and later reignited into the Palisades inferno. America is listening to Fox News.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZQL Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZQL Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel. Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Nothing but classic October weather across St. Louis this afternoon. Sunny and nice. 75 for the high. Tonight, clear and chilly. We'll drop into the 60s for evening plans. 49 for the overnight low. May need a sweater for evening plans. Thursday, sunny and 73. 47 Thursday night. Friday, sunny and 78. A little bit warmer and sunshine over the weekend. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Oh, yeah, it is. On a Wednesday afternoon, we welcome in to the studio our friend Alex Rich, who hangs with us and is going to do that here in the 4 o'clock hour. Sue is putting a chair together at her house this afternoon, so it's keeping her busy.
It's a love seat.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I misidentified. I misgendered the chair, didn't I? I'm sorry about that. We have Fred, the Hall of Famer, in the studio with us as well.
How about old Fred Bottenheimer over there, ladies and gentlemen?
And I think Ethan's pulling some music for me, so he'll be in here in just a second. We got Sue's news coming up here in a few minutes. We'll talk about a few other things. I have a sleep quiz for you guys as well. You can sleep. You got weird sleep patterns, Sue, because you have to get up early, and then I don't even know what is your bedtime. Do you have a standard bedtime?
I try to go no later than 9:40, and that gets me 7 hours.
9:40 is an interesting number. I mean, it's not 9:35 or 9:45. Nope. It's 9:40, right?
11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I don't always hit it. I hit 10 o'clock a lot, and I wish I had more sleep.
Can you fall asleep naturally? Like you don't have any?
Yes.
Really? Boy, man.
Now, some days it takes you longer. I mean, the whole time we were selling the house, I don't think I slept properly, and once it was gone, then I'm okay.
Stressful, right?
Yeah.
Well, we'll get back in this because I have this little quiz about sleep that was in the New York Times that I thought was kind of interesting. You know, we love our I was asking Alex if he knows this actor's name. We were talking before the segment here that I'm going to go see Soul on Fire, the John O'Leary story, tomorrow. You know, it's interesting. I have a friend that's coming in town, and I'm so glad he's coming back, Sue. My friend Art Karam, I was a roommate of his, and we went to Mizzou together. We also went to Parkway West. He's the one who has the daughter who had cancer, and then she had, all kinds of issues. They're coming back in town for a wedding this weekend, and I was in the middle of my health crisis when they came in July, and we were all supposed to go to a baseball game, and I had to pull out at the last minute. But I bring it up because Art, who, kind of knows a lot about St. Louis, he hasn't lived here in a long time, he saw the ad for Soul on Fire, and he was totally unfamiliar with John O'Leary's story. So, Fred, I just sent a link to the movie to Scott Jennings, because I don't know if he's doing lighter stuff on his radio show. We air his show, which right now is just an hour every evening from 8 to 9. But, I mean, that's right up Jennings' alley with the Jack Buck connection and everything. So I did suggest that to him. I'm going to put this on Kilmeade's radar as well. But, Alex, you haven't seen it yet either, have you?
I have not. I'm like you. I've been invited a couple times.
I just could never make it. They had some that were out in St. Charles. They didn't really geographically work for me. My friend Jeff Drew, who is my awesome dear friend who lets me play Belle Reeve every once in a while, is one of the producers on the film. And what that means is he wrote a check. You can be an executive producer if you put some money into it. And, to release that film right now, leading up to the fall, this is a big release for Soul on Fire. You don't put a movie like that in the middle of October if you don't have high hopes and you don't think it's going to make, a significant amount of money. And it's got one of those stories that will be very appealing to people. I mean, John almost died because he set himself on fire doing stupid things when he was a kid. And then this whole Jack Buck angle where Jack is given a lot of credit by John O'Leary saving his life. So we'll talk more about that on Friday with John. He'll be with us, I think, at 5:30. But Alexa and I are going to go see the movie tomorrow night. So we love our true crime stuff, right, Sue? Everybody loves true crime. Yeah. I'm watching the Ed Gein story, Monster, the Ed Gein story on Netflix right now. I'm not super into it. They've done a series of these. They did one on Jeffrey Dahmer. Ed Gein, do you guys know that name?
Is this the one called Monster?
They're all called Monster. Yeah, it's the series. It's Ryan Murphy. So they do a series of these, and this one, it's like the anthology series. This one is on Ed Gein. Now, Ed Gein, I knew a lot about Ed Gein because I lived in Milwaukee. He's another Wisconsin serial killer, but a little different. But the reason that his story sticks out is because Psycho is based loosely on Ed Gein. There was a book written about it, and then Hitchcock got interested in the story. So that's kind of the reference that people might know, because he does weird things with dead bodies, and he
gross.
Yeah, well, and see, he was kind of known for where Dahmer, ate his victims. He was a body snatcher who dug up corpses, and he made clothing and household items and stuff like that. So when they searched his home in 1957. He was arrested after the disappearance of a woman named Bernice Reardon. So they're searching his home and property in the middle of Wisconsin, and they find Reardon's decapitated body and head. And then they find these things, and this sort of is featured in the first couple of episodes of this show. They find objects in the apartment, in the home, made from skin.
I can't do that.
Wow. A wastebasket.
Too gross.
I like this type of stuff.
There's
also.
a lampshade that's made from skin.
Come on.
Yeah. So, but it's interesting. This guy who plays Ed Gein, Charlie Hunnam, I know who he is. This you guys know his name at all?
No.
I don't think I can.
I looked him up. He's in some big Sons of Anarchy and some other stuff, right?
He's not a no name, but I don't know what it is about this portrayal, but I'm not into it. And then he goes on and he's doing some media on this, and I guess he's basically saying that, because some people are saying, look, you're sensationalizing these things. He's essentially saying, I never felt on set we did anything gratuitous for shock impact. It was all trying to tell the story as honestly as we could. But then he kind of throws in this reference to say, well, who really are the evil people here? Is it the killer? Is it the movie company that's putting this out? Well, you're acting in it, dude. Or is it the American people for having this fascination with true crime? I mean, we just do. I don't know what else you can say about it.
I was going to ask you, Mark, do you have a, I wouldn't say favorite serial killer because that's kind of a gruesome thing, but is there a serial killer that sticks out to you?
No, there is for me, and this is why. Because, look, the Dahmer story I know quite well because I moved to Milwaukee in 1997. It's the aftermath of what happened up there. But Milwaukee really had that stigma for a while because of Dahmer, and I knew the reporters, and they've been on my show even recently because of some books and some movies that have been made that literally broke that story in Milwaukee for the paper, for the Journal-Sentinel. But when I was a kid growing up, John Gacy was the story in Chicago, and he was arrested when he finally got picked up, and he was the guy that was burying kids, in his basement,
the clown,
essentially.
too, right?
Yeah, and this is what's interesting. I'll tell you that in a second. So he was arrested, and I didn't know this until I watched a recent documentary about a mile and a half from where I lived. In Niles, Illinois.
Wow.
Yeah.
No.
So, and there were, I'm not saying I was in the same neighborhood, but he was trolling some of the same suburbs where I lived. He was also a clown at this event called Chuckwagon Days at Maryville Academy, which is run by the Catholic Archdiocese. And I was, memory serves, think my dad even challenges me on this, but he was a clown at this event. And I don't know how often he did it, but it was this Catholic Charities fundraiser. A lot of the athletes were there.
So you basically survived a John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I could have been buried in the basement of John Wayne Gacy's home. I was that close.
Some of us, if only we were so lucky.
But I am partial to that story just because they're all, they're disgusting and a lot of things that those stories have in common, and it's not true with the Ed Gein story, but some of these things would never happen in modern times for a variety of reasons. We have cameras everywhere and all that. But with Gacy and with Dahmer in particular, and I think maybe there was another one, the cops didn't really care because the guys and the dudes that were going missing were gay. So this was a different time in this country. And, there were sex workers that were also at play on that case on Long Island. So there's similarities to that as well, where the cops were like, you know what, the victim's a sex worker, a prostitute. Maybe we're not that interested. It just happened, unfortunately. And that's why some of those cases probably didn't get solved as quickly as they should have. And now we have technology and all that stuff as well. It's pretty hard to be a serial killer in 2025, but I'm sure they're still out there.
I have to say something real quick.
Yeah.
I like the mystery, right? I like solving the crime, finding out who did it. But just watching or talking about a guy who makes a skin lamp, no. I have no interest in that. I think there's a definite line.
This show is not necessarily just about that. It tries to create, the build-up to the character and what he's doing. This one has fallen flat with me. I've watched these monster series, and I like some of the Ryan Murphy stuff, but this one I cannot recommend. And I'm 2 episodes in. Usually I give it 3. I'm not sure I'm going back to it.
I wanted to ask, speaking of solving the crime, did you guys ever have a chance to watch The Unknown Number that we were talking about?
I did not. My sister-in-law saw it. Said it just freaked her out.
It's still crazy.
Yeah, Sue, did you get a chance yet?
What is it?
It's the Catfish Unknown Number. Every time we bring this up, Sue says, "What is that?"
That's what I got to stop asking. I'm
sorry.
Talk about solving a crime. That would have you on the edge of your seat the entire time.
It is must-see TV, especially if you don't know what that case is about. It's better. Don't Google it.
I'm
going
to send you. Do not Google it. I'm going to send you a video, Mark. It's funny because have somebody when you guys are watching it. Have somebody video like your reaction
to that moment.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a holy blank moment for sure.
Sure.
It's definitely worth watching that. All right, we got Sue's News coming up.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads, well, we've got some volume southbound 55 and south of Arsenal down through Bates. Westbound 64, slow pockets now, Kings Highway. And it's mainly moderate volume, but it's pockets all the way out through Wentzville. 64 is that way. 70, just moderate volume at Jennings Station Road and through O'Fallon, a little bit at Wentzville. It's southbound 270. They moved an accident to the shoulder near Ladue Road, but we have slow-moving traffic back through Page and in pockets down through Gravois. Northbound is still jammed, headed for 70. There was an accident there. In the right lanes, we are quiet through North County and look for heavy traffic on the Illinois side. Both directions, 5570, just a little bit west of 111. It's all due to road work over there. This report brought to you by Barron Mirror Glass and Door. Simply the finest when it comes to mirror glass and shower doors. You can't find better quality, prices, or service than at Barron Mirror Glass and Door. They have the basics all the way up to the elite. Barron Mirror Glass and Door can't be beat. I'm Sue Thomas with Traffic 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Thank you, Sue. We have Sue's News coming up, but Sue has a very special sponsor announcement first. Was she aware of that?
Oh, no, she wasn't, but
now
she will
is.
talk about it.
I was trying to do my best. I didn't know really how to give you a hint.
That was good, but I didn't have the copy in front of me.
About
okay. Here's the thing. If you're talking about retirement and thinking about it, do you really know the ins and outs? Because that's what you need to know. How do the taxes work? When should you take Social Security? You've got to know all these things. Otherwise, you're at a disadvantage. And you can't just say, well, I think we have enough for retirement. No. You have to have a written retirement financial plan in place. That's what you need. That is what will give you peace of mind. And that's what makes sense to me. It also makes sense to financial and tax architects. That's why they hold classes throughout the St. Louis area. Their idea is if you come to a class, it's 2.5 hours. You'll learn a few interesting things about how retirement works, and then you can decide whether you want help from financial and tax architects. They really are the best. So give them a call and go to a class. 314-888-5101. 314-888-5101.
Looking for some iced caffeine, left you in the cold. No one knows why brown water costs as much as liquid gold. Told him your name was Brian, why does this cup say Nicole? But then you found paradise in your cup at the Quick Trip. No regrets to start your day.
More and more now I'm hearing when all my customers that are calling and setting up appointments for looking at different types of furnace and air conditioners, they're calling in because of all the years that I've said there is a common sense approach, and they want to see what that is. Well over 95% of the people are very happy that they did call me. I'm not saying that they purchased anything from me, but they're extremely happy that they did call me. It's not being cheaper, it's being explained in such a way to where they can make an honest decision for themselves and their family and what's best for their pocketbook. When you start getting prices for new furnace and air conditioners, call me. It's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. Again, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Again, that's 314-293-2600, or on the internet, it is bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
License number E2014A.
Hey, it's good to see you.
Dad, that's what Grandpa Rip always said.
That's right. 50 years ago, Grandpa started Grasser. And whenever a customer called, he'd smile and say, "Hey, it's good to see you."
Hey, it's good to see you.
It was his way of treating people like neighbors, not numbers. That's why we still say it today.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeServices.com.
Hey, it's good to see you.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
I'm Kristen Press. And I'm Tobin Heath. We're World Cup winners, Olympians, and the hosts of The Recap Show.
Every week, we sit down with the icons, disruptors, and game changers on the field and beyond it to talk victories, heartbreaks, and everything in between.
We've built a space where athletes, changemakers, and people creating the future of women's sports can show up and show off as their full, unapologetic selves. Follow and listen to The Recap Show wherever you get your podcasts.
Mark Reardon, Sue Thomas. This is The Mark Reardon Show.
Oh, I thought we'd come in with a little Jonas Brothers because Alex is wearing his Jonas Brothers shirt because they're at Enterprise Center tonight, right?
Enterprise Center tonight.
Yeah, this is one of the
Jonas
new songs.
Brothers put on a great show.
Excellent show. I saw him out in Las Vegas, and I thought it was good. And you invited me tonight, and I'm thinking about it very strongly. But we have to do this right now.
These allegations are deeply concerning.
Does the president have any comment?
We're not going to comment.
It's not clear messaging.
No.
And now, Sue's News. Presented by U.S. Men's Medical Center.
Yes. Well, I wanted to say Happy National Hero Day to all of you. National Take Your Parents to Lunch Day. National Bring Your Teddy Bear to Work/School Day.
I already did that.
Did you?
Yep.
That's sweet. Fred, did you do that?
No.
Uh-huh, thank you, the normal person. And National Fluffernutter Day.
Excuse me?
That is a... Thank you.
There you go,
Alex.
Sue.
Fluffernutter is a sandwich made with marshmallow cream and peanut butter.
Sure it is, Sue. You go with that.
Uh-huh.
Is there an urban dictionary to that or something?
I think this is a thing somewhere.
A fluffer nut.
In a bedroom.
You're talking about a fluffer nut.
No. It's not, but I can't remember what part of the country. All right, I could just Google that. Somebody Google.
Sounds
where are
that's definitely a fetish of some sort.
Yeah. Don't go to the wrong site, Sue. Because
you know what? That's a good point.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
But yes,
Do it on your
that's
phone,
what it
not the computer.
actually is.
Michael will come home and say, Sue, what were you surfing?
Good Lord. All right, on this day in history, 154 years ago, it's 1871. And the 3-day Great Chicago Fire touched off. And, of course, the story is Mrs. O'Leary's cow kicked over the kerosene lantern. 300 people were killed. 17,000 buildings were destroyed. 99,000 people were left homeless. Fire 154 years ago in Chicago. I know that
but it really wasn't the cow.
I was going to say, I don't think that's true.
It's not true. It was legend, but it's not really the way it started.
Do you know how it started?
I have forgotten, but yeah, I mean,
Yes.
no, I'm just being serious.
Yes.
The one thing I know is that the O'Leary thing is not, it's not true.
It's just something that won't let go.
You know,
But
downtown at the Arch, underneath the Arch in the museum, they've got quite a display explaining the Great St. Louis Fire. And that's always fascinated me, even though I can't,
And
I'm
when was
fascinated
that?
by it. Oh, it took out like most of the riverfront.
Really?
And
Yeah.
all the houses, and it was, jumped from boat to boat to boat, then up
Yeah, that
onto
was
the riverfront.
Yep.
I don't know when that was, though, exactly.
I can't remember. It was in a history of the Lou. But, yeah, it was really devastating. All right.
It
now
says
this
here that it's unknown, but it did start in a barn on DeKoven Street, and they say, this is AI overview, of course, that the legend of the O'Leary cow kicking over a lantern is largely a fabricated story created by reporters for story. Other theories include a gambling fight in the barn, a different human accident, or even a comet. So there you go.
A comet?
Yeah, poor Catherine O'Leary, though, got all the blame in that whole deal.
Yeah, she really did. All right, this one is the one that has music. On this day in history, 38 years ago, in 1987, this man got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
I was trying to figure out where you were going with that because I knew the song was older than that, but this is when Chuck got his star, so that's pretty awesome.
Deep down in Louisiana, close to New Orleans, way back up in the woods among the evergreens, there stood a log cabin.
Of course, he has a star in New City as well. Do they still
he
hand
does.
those things out?
They do.
They
do.
Are they awarding stars? I know our friend Ridley Pearson, I was there for his ceremony a few years back, but I don't remember hearing about stars being...
The most recent one I remember was because I was there and I sang a song to him. My little parody was Andy Cohen.
Oh, yeah. Well, he kind of deserves it.
And that was like 2 years ago.
Right.
All right, well,
so
then
fairly
that's probably,
recent.
Yeah.
You know?
I count that.
We need to campaign for Sue, don't we? Or Fred,
what?
maybe.
Fred is
Fred,
all
Fred,
of fame.
maybe,
Alex
yeah.
is going to have one before
Oh, God, no.
Chuck Berry, by the way, was about 60 years old when he got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Oh, and his birthday bash is coming up at St. Louis Symphony at the new Powell Hall. This place is stunning, I've heard. I've not yet been there. But they're going to do a whole tribute to him. And they're going to feature band members from the Rolling Stones, Living Colour, and the Pretenders. It's going to be awesome.
Hey, Sue.
Like, who from the the Rolling Stones, that's kind of like a well-known
Tim
band.
Reese, saxophone.
Oh, okay, all right. Like,
Bernard Fowler on vocals.
it's not Keith, right?
No.
And
I'm sorry, what were you saying,
I was
Fred?
going to say, plug your History of the Lou. Didn't you do a big one on him?
I did. Oh, and it's a good one not because of me, because of Chuck Berry's son,
Chuck
Charles
Berry
Berry Jr. He was so good. So if you want to hear that, thanks, Fred, for that.
I walked into his studio at his, this would have been, how old was he 38 years ago?
60.
And what year was that?
1987.
Okay, so he would have been 57. I was there 1984 or summer of 83. Summer of 83 at his birthday party out at the farm where he filmed the ladies. And I walked into his studio, and because I always, you remember things like this, it was iconic. Mark, I'm making music. M-O-N-E-Y. And then he played at his birthday party. It was awesome.
That's really neat. Apparently, some of his relatives will also be playing at this at Powell Hall.
I think his grandson he's the trombone player in the band that played at my wedding.
Oh,
Really?
that's really
Fat Pocket
cool.
Band.
Look at
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
They're
that's
awesome.
really
Well, Ingrid,
cool.
his daughter, is super talented and performed with Chuck for many, many years. And then his son is really cool, too.
Yeah,
Charles.
he really is. Taylor Swift, of course, denying the rumor that she turned down the Super Bowl halftime show just because it doesn't pay, as Mark guessed. She says she's not interested because she's too locked in on what Travis is doing on the field. Apparently, she was on the Tonight Show this week, and she said that Jay-Z's team will sometimes reach out to her people and ask, just in a general sense, how she'd feel about doing it. But there's never been an official offer or conversation. It's true she's not interested, at least not while he's playing.
And she's white, so she doesn't have a chance.
Well, there is that. But,
right. If she was a person of color, she'd already been up there. Look, I think that she's making the right decision. It's kind of a conflict now. Whether the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl or not, it's just not cool, and she'll probably do it at one point.
Yeah, she says that she probably will, just as when he's gone, no longer playing.
Jay-Z or Travis? Just kidding.
Travis, when he's no longer playing. Netflix.
Which, by the way, will be next year, just so you know.
I would think.
You think, really?
Oh, yeah. This is probably it.
Why would he keep playing?
Nah,
that's true.
You know?
I don't know. Netflix is creating a competition series based on the board game Clue. Alex, have you ever played Clue?
Mr. Something with a club.
Colonel
Mustard.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, in the dining room with the candlestick.
That was always a fun game.
Yeah,
I loved it. I loved it. Okay, well, not much else is known except players will go through physical and mental challenges to earn clues. The classic characters will be there, so you could be Colonel Mustard, Professor Plum, Miss Scarlet, but it's not clear how. And there are also going to be red herrings to confuse people. And NBC has a new game show based on the popular Wordle. Fred.
Wow,
it's a Wordle
really?
game show. It's a matter of time.
Wow.
I'm surprised they hadn't done that until now.
How do we get Fred on it?
I don't know, but I want to play too. Jimmy Fallon is an executive producer. Savannah Guthrie is set to host. And if you've never played Wordle,
if it would look kind of like Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, that's kind of how I see it in my head.
Are you still pretty big into the Wordle every day? Doing all that?
I love the Wordle. Fred?
I don't do it every day, but I do it.
You do?
Yeah.
Annie's got a group chat with all the teachers at her school, and they do it every single day.
Far too much thinking for me in the morning. I don't get going on that till about 2:58.
It's not that difficult. And sometimes a word will get you. Today's got me for a while. If you've never played it, you basically get 6 tries to guess a 5-letter word.
There you go.
That's all it is.
I never get it. I know my limitations. Fact of the day here. Running out of time.
Okay, finally. The word dilemma, this is a random fact, originally meant a choice between 2 tough options. 3 options was a trilemma. 4 options was a quadrilemma, and so on. That is the origin
we got
of
infinite
dilemma.
lemmas on this show.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. And that's it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, we don't use all those, do we?
No.
Jonas Brothers in St. Louis, Enterprise Center tonight. By the way, great warm-up act in All American Rejects. I love them, too. We're coming back.
I'm Chad Robinson with Your Money Now. Former FBI Director James Comey pleading not guilty this morning to federal criminal charges with his trial set to start on January 5th. Comey's lawyer and prosecutors say they expect the trial just to last a few days. Comey is accused of making a false statement and obstruction of a congressional proceeding during testimony to a Senate committee in 2020. Amazon is launching a prescription drug kiosk at some One Medical offices throughout Los Angeles. The kiosks are similar to a vending machine giving prescriptions to patients within minutes of their doctor visit. Amazon kiosks will be at One Medical clinics in downtown LA, Beverly Hills, Long Beach, and West Hollywood. On Wall Street, stocks were mixed, with the Dow falling a point, the S&P and NASDAQ both setting fresh records, up 39 and 255 points respectively. That's Your Money Now.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code COOL to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code COOL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code COOL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Hey, I want you to get up on Underdog Fantasy and have a lot of fun because it is fun in football seasons here, baseball playoffs. You have the WNBA playoffs if that's your thing as well. But with Underdog, you have to download the app and get started with a username and a password. And then once you do that, I'm going to guide you into some bonus credits that you're going to take advantage of and get moving on selections with the Champions game on Underdog Fantasy, which you can do now in Missouri. You can play with as little as $1. You can win up to 5,000 times your cash. We have a great Thursday night football game. You have playoff baseball tonight. You just go on that app and you pick whether your players, if it's football, it's just touchdowns and, passing yards and rushing yards, etc. Baseball would be home runs, hits, strikeouts, etc. Download that app, though. Sign up with the promo code MarkR. That gets you $100 right now in bonus funds or bonus entries when you play your first $5. Again, the promo code MarkR, $100 in bonus funds or bonus entries. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
I hear from sellers all the time that they fear they have missed out on the selling market. They are so relieved to learn September, October, and November are strong selling months. With low inventory and hopefully lower interest rates, this fall will be a hot one for real estate. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. You may have heard me say, why pay more than 4 for years? Now it's why pay more than 2, saving you even more money. Call me 314-441-4444. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri, Kansas, and Nevada.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Triton Exteriors. Not sure if you've noticed, but the storms seem to be especially bad this spring. If you had James Hardy Smart Siding, you wouldn't have to worry about it. It's not going to be damaged like in the 314-day storm. So we do roofing, siding, gutters, fences. We're always going to be the middle bid. We're never going to cut corners. We're never going to take advantage of you. Call 314-717-1159 or triton-stl.com.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
And this portion of the show is sponsored by Jerry Kelly, Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
25 years strong. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
So here at Odyssey St. Louis, Sue and Alex and Fred, as you know, I mentioned Fred here.
How about old Fred Bottenheimer over there, ladies and gentlemen?
We often honor our best in the building, right? We used to have like rock star parking where someone would get a parking spot for a month. I don't think we do that anymore, but we do these champions dinners. Sue, have you been at one of these things yet?
Yes, I did one.
I think I was invited to one, but I couldn't make it. But Fred, deservedly so, was at one of those last night at a pretty cool restaurant in Webster, right?
Yeah, Alex.
Madrina.
Great Italian restaurant.
Sue, have you been there?
Is that the old CJ Muggs?
It is the old CJ Muggs.
Then yeah, that's where my Champions dinner was as well. It was delicious.
So the company's picking up the tab here, right? And Fred says to me during the break, "Well, I didn't want to order
I
it
said
like
it
the
to you
most,
during the break,
but I'm exposing
I didn't want to talk about it on air.
I do want to talk about it. I don't care.
I mean, it is embarrassing.
You said you didn't want to hit the company up for like the biggest steak. Why in the world would you not?"
I'm the same way, Fred.
Oh, come on.
I always feel bad, so I try for something low or in the middle.
Alex probably worked out the trade for that
I did
deal.
work the trade out for it,
did.
and I always get the steak when I go there. I do.
What did you have, Fred?
I had bolognese.
Okay, well that's
it
good.
It was great.
Yeah,
that sounds
really
good.
Oh,
but you said our boss Steve Moore, who is like in charge of everything here, he hit the company up big time, didn't he?
Well, no, I don't think he got what he ordered because he wouldn't have ordered this one. It was just so huge. It's like one of those tomahawks. It was like bigger than the plate.
Oh, really?
It's one of those.
Wait,
it was comic.
It's one of those ones.
What he ordered?
No, I think they were. I think he got something else. It wasn't a mistake. I think they were out of. I think everybody was ordering the same stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's like definitely not to eat by yourself.
Right.
Ooh, well, you could have taken that bone home to the dog. I mean,
He was going to do that.
Yeah, that's a way to go.
Yeah.
I was getting
Are we
nervous
sure
about
he was
that.
taking it home for the dog? Does Steve even have a dog?
He's got a dog, but he's got like a little dog like Fred, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Bone would be bigger than the dog.
Yes, it would.
I know he says he has to have like stairs to get it up onto the bed, so I think it is a
That's a tiny dog.
It's a big bed.
Knowing Steve,
now I'm just thinking about the steps next to Steve's bed.
Knowing Steve like I
You
do,
think Steve ever uses them?
That's
he keeps
what I'm
that dog in his man purse. He keeps that dog in his man purse.
I bet Steve uses those stairs for sure. Every once in a while, he'll see if he still, climbs up those.
Ethan Hanford in here with us as well this afternoon. I have a little quiz.
I wasn't the only one honored, though. I mean, it was like
it was you and who else?
Tom Ackerman, Kevin Wheeler.
I think Tom Ackerman's been at every single one this whole year.
Probably.
I think honestly I was invited to the last one, but it was when, first of all, I don't go to these things because I don't really like them, and then people don't like me, so it kind of works out. And then I wasn't feeling well for the last one, but I'd rather give my spot to someone like you or Ethan for sure.
I think I get it so often because I work with you.
Yeah, because
it's like a mercy vote.
It is,
honestly.
exactly. No, that's it.
You donate. You know how you donate those like Odyssey points to people through the system here.
Yes.
I've given Fred some before,
just for working with me.
Swear to you, that was the explanation. It was like putting up with Mark Reardon.
It is a skill set
for
that
40 years.
Some people don't have, and Fred has managed to excel in that for almost. Good Lord, Fred, it's almost been 20 years, which is hard for me to believe.
Now.
Okay, let me ask a question here. I started this a little earlier, and Sue, you get up very early in the morning. Fred gets up not quite as early, but he's walking loony. You get up at what, 6:15?
Yeah.
Ethan, what time do you wake up in the morning?
Not that early.
No, me neither. But no,
I get up at probably like 9:30.
Well, you're a 25-year-old guy. You stay up late, probably gaming and stuff like that.
I don't game. I'm constantly doing like broadcast work or something. I'm more productive in the evening, so I usually go to bed between 1 and 2 o'clock.
I'm going to follow up on that in a second. Alex, sleep schedule.
I would say I'm usually up around 8.
What time do you go to bed?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I would say 11 or 12.
Right around then. New York Times has this sleep quiz here, and what they say is for an activity that most of us spend about a third of our lives doing, there's a lot that scientists don't understand about sleep, which I find interesting in and of itself, including why we evolved to do it in the first place. But the experts do know that we would not survive without it, and not getting enough can ravage our health in a variety of ways. And one of the things that, candidly, I was dealing with the mental health crisis, in particular in May and June, I wasn't sleeping at all. I mean, I'd wake up, and this was with sleep medicine, right? So it was really, really an issue. But they start with some questions here, and we'll see. This is the group can get involved here. It's finally time to slip into bed and close your eyes. How long does it take most healthy adults to fall asleep? Is it 5 to 10 minutes? Is it 10 to 20 minutes? Is it 20 to 30 minutes? Is it 30 to 60 minutes? I think I would say 10 to 20 minutes.
I would say the 5 to 10.
You say 5 to 10?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex?
Like when you close your eyes and you're actually committing to going to sleep.
Yeah.
I'm with Mark, probably 10 to 20.
10 to 20?
I'm 5 to 10.
5 to 10? But I'm not asking you what you are. I'm asking you what the majority of Americans.
Yeah, I would probably say 10 to 20.
Okay. Sue, you already said 5 to 10?
Yeah, 5 to 10.
All right, here we go. I'm going to say 10 to 20 because one of us has to answer it and see, and then they'll tell us the right answer. That is correct. Most healthy adults take anywhere between 10 and 20 minutes to fall asleep. If you're falling asleep much more quickly, it could be a sign that you're not sleeping well or for long enough, Fred. If you consistently need more time to fall asleep, that could be a symptom of a sleep disorder like insomnia. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, thanks for helping us there. Insomnia is really that. Thanks, New York Times.
Wow.
Second of 12 questions. Insomnia is the most common sleep disorder. What is the second? Narcolepsy, restless leg syndrome, sleep apnea, nightmare disorder.
It's sleep apnea.
I'm going to say.
I'm going to say that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anybody say anything
Ethan?
else?
No.
My wife would say restless leg syndrome because she says that I kick her sometimes in my
I've heard
sleep.
I feel like
so
my
who
legs do
remembers?
get restless.
All right, I'm going to go with sleep apnea. And again, correct answer. Tens of millions of people in the U.S. are estimated to struggle with obstructive sleep apnea, a condition that occurs when the throat muscles relax while sleeping, causing the airway to narrow or close. This cuts off oxygen flow and causes people to snore and wake up gasping for air when your partner puts a pillow over your head to keep you from snoring. No, that wasn't in there. Question number 3. After a few hours of tossing and turning, you consider taking a Benadryl to help you sleep. Which of the following is not a potential side effect of that drug? Cognitive issues. Remember, this is which is not. Weight loss, constipation, abnormally fast heartbeat. I would say cognitive issues. right?
Which is not?
Yeah, which is not.
A
Well,
symptom.
no, I guess if you're drowsy.
I'm going to say weight loss.
Weight loss, that's probably right.
I'm going to say constipation.
No, I'm pretty sure it stops you up.
All right, I'll go with weight loss. That is correct. It is weight loss.
I'm 3 for 3 right now. I must be a great.
I like how you say
It's
that.
like
It stops you.
It stops you up.
While it's probably not harmful to take an occasional Benadryl to help you sleep, doctors say you should not do it regularly. And then they go on with a
Otherwise,
bunch
you're
of
going to
blah,
have
blah,
some
blah.
issues, some serious issues.
You drink a lot of coffee.
True or false? Sealing your lips shut with mouth tape is a safe and effective way to improve your sleep. What?
They say
Yeah.
They
What
say
in
it
the
is.
world?
This
Why?
is a thing now. I'm going to say yes, even though I think it's dumb.
Okay.
What's it supposed to do?
Keep your mouth shut. That's what
but I
causes
mean-
sleep
Yeah,
apnea.
like mouth breathing.
Oh.
and
Mouth
things like that.
breathing's no good at night.
I'm going to also say yes. Lars Newbar does this. I listened to it on a podcast where he talked about it. He said it
Really?
really helps him.
Okay, well, I'm going to say true. Nope, it is not true, lady. Some say placing surgical tape over the lips, Lars Newbar, can improve sleep by forcing nasal breathing, which encourages deeper, fuller breaths and reduces snoring. But there is no evidence that the strategy works, and some doctors say it might even impair breathing, especially if you're congested. Yeah, I can see the police case on this one. I was just trying to get her to sleep better. And I actually put the duct tape over her nose, too.
Yeah.
Question number 5. Which of the following is true about melatonin? Select all that apply. Your body produces it naturally. Most sleep doctors recommend melatonin supplements as a natural remedy for insomnia. Melatonin supplements can be an effective way to beat jet lag. Research has proved it is safe to take melatonin supplements every night. You can get just as much melatonin from a serving of turkey as you would from a supplement. Which of the following is true?
I bet it's a trick question.
I
I'm
think
going to
it's all the
answer all
above.
of them. Yep.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I'm gonna say all of them here, and then I'm gonna submit. Nope. They
Turkey.
say
Don't tell me it's
Maybe
the turkey
not
one.
the jet lag.
there's only 2 that are true.
A and C.
Your
Please tell
body
me
produces
turkey.
it naturally. Fred was right. A and C. Sleep
What's-
doctors do not recommend that. Research has not proved it's safe, and you can't get as much melatonin from a serving of turkey
I
as you
take
would from a
melatonin
supplement.
every night.
Tryptophan.
Every
is
single
Some
what
people
turkeys,
think it works.
Turkeys that tryptophan. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Tryptophan.
Yeah, tryptophan.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
But eating turkey before bed every night would
I don't hate it.
would also stop you up a little bit.
It's going to make you. Yes,
Gee.
it would. It would.
What is the segment?
All right, hang on here. We're not done.
It's
True or
just
false?
a lens into his life.
Gee whiz.
True or false? Blocking blue light from screens by wearing blue light filtering glasses will help you sleep. True or
I'm going to
false?
say true.
I'm also going to say true.
Say
Yeah.
true on that
I'll
one.
join.
It is not. It is false. Yeah. Look at that. Scientists aren't sure if blue light from screens harms sleep, and even if it does, there's very little evidence that most blue light glasses block a meaningful amount of the light. Question number 7. Which of the following play a role in obstructive sleep apnea? Select all that apply. Your age, your eye color, alcohol use, your sex, hormonal imbalances. I would say your age,
Alcohol use.
your sex.
No, I don't think it has
No?
to do with this.
How about
I
hormonal
don't think
imbalances?
sex. Maybe hormonal
All right, I'm going to
imbalances.
submit here.
No one thinks eye color?
Oh, my gosh.
We got him right.
It's everything except for eye color. Let's see if I do eye color here. Yeah,
I
it
think
says
we got him right.
when you age and gain weight, fatty tissues in your neck and tongue can build up and narrow your airway. Drinking alcohol can cause the muscles in your throat to relax so that they close while you sleep. Men are more likely to develop sleep apnea than women, as are people with certain hormonal imbalances, like those stemming from an underactive thyroid or insulin resistance. Eye color, however, not known to be linked with sleep apnea.
You know, I was working out a lot in college when I was playing baseball, and after college, I lost a lot of weight in my neck, and I stopped snoring. So it does have to do with like
That's
the sleep
interesting.
apnea.
Yeah.
Which,
for sure.
Which eye color we think it would have been?
Hazel, probably. All right, you've hit a mid-afternoon slump, hopefully not listening to the show, and you could use a nap. What is the ideal amount of time to sleep? 5 to 15 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, 30 to 60 minutes, 90 minutes? There is no ideal time. Your body will let you know. I'd say 20 to 30 limits.
20 to 30.
Yeah, that's what they say.
That is correct, 20 to 30. A little cat nap. I like those. Okay, you recently saw a social media post about a short sleeper who only needs 4 to 6 hours per night.
Donald Trump.
Is it really possible for some people to survive on that little sleep? Yes, some people are naturally short sleepers and function just fine. No, this is a myth. Everyone needs more than 6 hours of sleep. I'm going to say yes. What do you guys say?
I agree with you.
Okay.
I'm intrigued by this one.
Right.
I can't wait to know the answer.
It is yes. Yes. Scientists have linked several genetic mutations to short sleeper syndrome, a condition where people need less sleep than the average person to function, but it's extremely rare. Question 10. What is the ideal sleeping temperature for most people? 59 to 64 degrees Fahrenheit, 65 to 68, 69 to 73. There is no such thing as an ideal sleeping temperature.
65 to 68.
Yep,
That's what
I'm with Ethan.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'd go the one above that.
You'd say 69 to 73?
That's hot.
Okay, I'm going to say 65 to 68. That is correct. Yes. Sleeping in a room that is too hot or too cold can sink your sleep. Generally, that sweet spot is somewhere between 65 and 68. A room this temperature might feel chilly during the day, ladies and gentlemen, but at night, it is optimal since your body temp naturally drops while sleeping.
I'm a really great sleeper based on these questions.
All right, we have 2 more. How does your sleep typically change as you age? Select all that apply. You sleep less, you sleep more, you wake up more frequently through the night, duh. You sleep more than usual. I would say you sleep less and you wake up more frequently. And,
I agree with that answer.
Okay, let's see here. Submit. Those are 2 correct. Those are, we're doing pretty well here. I'm doing
Alex, have you gotten one wrong yet?
I've gotten one wrong.
Okay.
I think.
Final question.
But it was like a partial thing.
Okay. All right.
Which of the following is a potential consequence of poor sleep? High blood pressure, weight gain, depression, dental problems like tooth decay, all of the above. I think this one's obvious.
All of the above.
It's all of the above. That's right. Insufficient or poor quality sleep can take its toll over time, affecting your brain, metabolism, heart health, and more. And if you got an 8.5 out of 12, which, by the way, I think we all did.
Well, you were answering the actual questions on the iPad there.
Right, but I
think I did a little bit better.
Okay, fine. That's fine. Good
gosh.
I'm
just letting you know.
You two are ridiculous.
Alex,
well refreshed.
Here it is. Alex won the round. There you go.
Thanks, Mike.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads, let's see. We do have some volume out there on westbound 6440, but it's the usual. So that's Kings Highway in pockets all the way out through 70, and it's mostly moderate volume. Westbound 70 slowing at Jennings Station Road past the airport, same moderate volume pockets on out. Now, southbound 270, most of the volume there is between Page and pockets down through Gravois, but northbound is slowing at Ladue Road. Southbound 55 slows south of Arsenal on down through Bates, and there's a jam on westbound 44 in front of the Arch grounds. Eastbound 6440 slows headed for the Poplar Street Bridge, but we're fine on the bridge itself. And eastbound and westbound 5570 jam just a little east of 111. That's all due to road work. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Climate Masters. We specialize in older homes. Climate Masters Heating and Cooling. Trusted heating and cooling installation and maintenance service. Keeping the St. Louis Metro comfortable since 1978. Call us today at 314-968-8383. Climate Masters.
We had a great outing last week at the Plaza Reardon in Hilton with another group of 97.1 FM Talk listeners who wanted to hear the strategy that Thomas Helbig and the team at the Retirement Advisor Group offer to you as you head into retirement. It's a different strategy than the brokerage houses. Mark Cox is always really good at making the distinctions. We all do an intro when we get together with a group of people like we did last week. And Mark used to work in the financial services industry, so he kind of knows the difference. The strategy with Thomas and the team at the Retirement Advisory Group is safely linking to the market, locking in your gains. They can teach you how to do that. Now, we don't have any more seminars this year. We'll pick them up in 2026, but you can head on straight to the office. Don't put it off. It's an important time. You don't know. The market's been up lately. I think it was up 1 point today, by the way, just 1 point. But that's better than down, right? If you want to find out more, head into the office. You'll get a free copy of their latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. 314-993-9494. RetirementKey.com.
Hey, it's Shannon Bream from Fox News. I want to wish congratulations to you for 25 years. I don't think I'll ever catch up to you. I mean, in greatness or in number of years, I wish you at least 25 more. It is my pleasure to visit with you each week, and I wish you all the best.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Land Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Land Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURY, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Land Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Attention St. Louis Medicaid residents in need of care at home. If you need assistance with daily activities, you can receive in-home care from a loved one that lives with you and they get paid. Through Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care at home in St. Louis, and they get paid weekly. Available to eligible Medicaid members in St. Louis. Call now to check your eligibility. It can be your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid. Freedom Care has over 7,000 five-star Google reviews and is a leading choice in St. Louis for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want to receive great care from a loved one, go to freedomcare.com, or for faster service, call 314-597-1749. 314-597-1749. That's 314-597-1749.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
Protect your liver and give it the support it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or at newnordicusa.com.
This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Our friend Duane Patterson from HotAir.com, he does the Duane's World podcast, going to join us after the top of the hour. Chris Kerber at 5:30. The Blues open up the season tomorrow against the Minnesota Wild. So on the topic of sports, Bill Belichick made a lot of news in the offseason. He took over the football program at North Carolina, the Tar Heels. Ethan, safe to say that Mr. Belichick has not had as much success as he's had in the NFL, right?
It has been absolutely abysmal. I mean, they have been terrible, and honestly, I would be embarrassed to be affiliated with that program right now. They've won 2 games. Those 2 schools they defeated were
high school
Charlotte
teams.
And Richmond.
So, TJ Moe was on here a couple months ago when some of this was happening. Remember with the CBS interview that went bad with the girlfriend and saying, look, the dude is ruining his legacy, right?
Right.
So 2 things have happened this week. One, this is too bad because I'm guessing it was North Carolina that made the decision because you'd think Hulu would still be all on board. Hulu was making a reality show of him coaching at North Carolina. And North Carolina put the kibosh on that this week. They said, nope, no more reality show. And again, it had to be the university because, are you kidding me? This is like the train wreck that we all want to see. And I'm sure that Hulu was like, yeah, we're all in still. But now it looks like he might be out at North Carolina sooner rather than later. Now, there's a little nuance here. It's not necessarily because they suck as a team, but they are reporting, 247 Sports, Andrew Jones reporting that a potential exit strategy discussion took place because of recruiting violations. So it's not necessarily just because they suck, and they might finish with a worse record than they did under Mac Brown, who was fired last year. But on October 7th, cornerbacks coach Armand Hawkins was suspended. He is alleged to have offered extra benefits to a player's family members, which is an NCAA rule violation. Per Jones' reporting, that transgression is allegedly one of many other violations that have occurred, many on the recruiting front. Look, this is different. Even in the age of NIL, it's very different to recruit a college kid than it is to sign someone and draft them and get them ready for the NFL. They say that there is upheaval in Belichick's ranks, citing interviews with players' families and unnamed sources. And then the other thing is that the coaching staff has faced questions about its experience level and nepotism because I guess he hired his son, Stephen Bryan. Mm-hmm. He also appointed Matt Lombardi as the quarterback coach. That is the son of the GM, Michael Lombardi. So, yeah, his record is 2-3 right now. Charlotte and Richmond were the winners. The losses were TCU, Central Florida, and Clemson.
None of them close.
No, by a combined 83 points. So there's no way that he makes it past this year.
And here's the part that makes it even worse is because he's Bill Belichick, because there was so much attention around it, similar to Deion Sanders when he came in, except that situation hasn't gone nearly as bad as Belichick's has. All of these have been on national television. All of them have had a bunch of attention around them, and they have all fallen flat on their face. None of these games have been close, and you have sucked the life out of this program for a school that should have a successful football team.
My question is why? Why ever take that job? If you're
Zero reason.
Why? What are
Zero
you doing?
reason.
What,
Alex,
honestly,
no, that is the reason. That's the question. I don't get it either. And he has ruined his legacy.
There can't be an amount of money that he needed.
He's making $10 million a year.
You're arguably go out as maybe the best football coach of all time.
One of
NFL,
certainly.
yeah.
Then you also prove all the people that said it was Tom Brady pulling the weight the whole time.
It's a disaster.
It's a disaster.
Terrible. I certainly wish Hulu was still doing the show.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Oh, it would be funny to watch. Okay, now on the roads, we've got some volume out there westbound 70. It's just moderate pockets. Jennings Station Road out through Wentzville. 64 is same thing, only a little bit slower, and it's Kings Highway in pockets on out through the 70 split. Southbound 270. The volume there is mainly from Page down through Gravois. Southbound 55, pretty slow tonight, headed down toward Bates, and it starts close to Arsenal, just pretty much through the construction zone. We've got a jam eastbound 40 headed for the Poplar Street Bridge, but it's fine on the bridge itself. And we're very busy 5570 east and westbound, just east of 111, all due to road work. This report brought to you by the Diamond Shop. The Diamond Shop, making St. Louis sparkle for over 100 years. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Sometimes it seems all lawmakers do is tax and spend. That's why Missouri voters passed the Hancock Amendment in 1980 to place a limit on what the government can do with your money. But the Hancock Amendment is outdated. It hasn't provided a taxpayer refund since 1999 and probably won't without reform. That's why Missouri needs a taxpayer Bill of Rights. Colorado has one, and taxpayers there have received more than $8 billion in refunds. It's simple. There should be limits on government spending and refunds when there's a surplus in the state budget. A taxpayer Bill of Rights constitutional amendment would help limit the growth of government. Missouri's budget has nearly doubled in the past 5 years, yet the state lags far behind states like Colorado in economic growth. The Hancock Amendment was supposed to protect taxpayers. Now it's time for an update and a taxpayer Bill of Rights. After all, it's your money. Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
License number E2014A.
Hey, it's good to see you.
Lights flickering?
Grasser can fix it.
Breaker keeps tripping?
That's a Grasser job.
Outlet not working?
Grasser makes it right.
Old wiring need a rewire?
Grasser rewires with care.
From little fixes to major fixes.
Even the tricky ones.
We treat your home like our own.
Treat? Did you say treat?
Woof. Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
Honey, is our car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My sister just got an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover our repair bills if anything happens to our car, new brakes, a transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait a minute, we pay nothing on the repairs? Ox gets it fixed for us? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance? What's the number?
800-234-0633. Ox has a 30-day money-back guarantee and an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike other warranty companies. We should call now, 800-234-0633.
The last thing we need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-234-0633. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care, 800-234-0633, or go to oxcarcare.com.
Celebrate the spooky season with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129. You can take 15% off your air duct and dryer vent cleanings. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com and take advantage of the savings.
Hey, we have another hour with Duane Patterson kicking it off next.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Close to a deal. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump says he may be traveling to the Middle East this weekend to finalize an agreement between Israel and Hamas.
Final negotiations in Egypt are going very well, President Trump says, with a potential peace deal between Hamas and Israel reached by week's end.
If that's the case, we'll be leaving probably on Sunday, maybe Saturday.
The president says he's preparing to travel to Egypt and maybe Israel, Gaza, and other destinations in the Middle East. Still, sources in the Egyptian government caution there are issues unresolved, including a demand by Israel that Hamas fully disarm and not just freeze its weapons.
Fox's Jared Halper at the White House. Hamas has agreed to freeze its weapons, but not to dismantle them, according to Egypt's government press office. It could be a stumbling block in phase 2 of the president's plan, as Israel will agree to nothing short of disarmament. A 29-year-old man charged with starting the deadly Palisades fire in Los Angeles that left 12 dead across Pacific Palisades and Malibu, California in January. Jonathan Rinderknecht facing multiple charges.
As the world watched in horror as the Palisades fire burned, victims perished in the smoke and flames. Homes where cherished family memories and belongings were turned to rubble and ash.
Acting U.S. Attorney Bill Asaley, the Palisades fire was one of 2 that broke out January 7th, leaving a total of 30 people dead and destroying more than 17,000 homes and buildings as they burned for days. Former FBI Director James Comey has pled not guilty to charges he lied to Congress during a Senate hearing in 2020. The indictment has led to accusations of weaponization of the Justice Department from Democrats who claim Comey is being targeted for political reasons. The U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia was ousted shortly before the indictment and replaced with a former personal attorney of President Trump. America's listening to Fox News.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZzzQuil Ultra, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZzzQuil Ultra helps Mike fall asleep fast, stay asleep longer, and get the deeply restorative sleep he needs, so he can wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZzzQuil Ultra. Not for colds, just for sleep. Really great sleep. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Nothing but classic October weather across St. Louis this afternoon. Sunny and nice. 75 for the high. Tonight, clear and chilly. We'll drop into the 60s for evening plans. 49 for the overnight low. May need a sweater for evening plans. Thursday, sunny and 73. 47 Thursday night. Friday, sunny and 78. A little bit warmer and sunshine over the weekend. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
You know, we do our Reardon Roundtable on Friday afternoons at 3 o'clock. Jane Duker is the Democrat staple, if you will. Jane and I have been doing the roundtable for a long time together. So what happens is Fred has to get one person from her side, and then one, conservative for me, and we hash out these topics. Well, Jane is off for a couple of weeks. She's doing some traveling, and of course that's awesome for her. We don't have as many D's as we do R's because I try to avoid the crazy Democrats, and as you might imagine, it's hard to find non-crazy Democrats. But I'm telling you, we're having so much trouble getting someone for this week. We may have to book a listener. So if you're a lefty listener who wants to be on the roundtable, apply with Fred. He might be able to hook you up. But we will do a roundtable one way or the other. I will tell you tomorrow we have the new Attorney General Catherine Hanaway on at 4:30, Senator Eric Schmidt. in 24 hours. Oh, and then John O'Leary, his movie opens Soul on Fire tomorrow nationwide. It's an amazing, uplifting story. John is a St. Louis native who literally set himself on fire when he was a little kid. He almost died. The legendary broadcaster for the Cardinals and other sports, Jack Buck, is credited with keeping John's hope alive and keeping him alive. And William H. Macy plays Jack Buck. So we're going to have John on the show. I'm going to see the movie finally tomorrow night. Duane Patterson is back with us from hotair.com, the host of the Duane's World podcast. How are you this afternoon?
Oh, I'm great, Mark. Not like there's anything going on in the world.
Well, I want to start with the biggest story that everyone's talking about, and that's that Dolly Parton is still alive, Duane.
Well, today's October the 8th, and obviously I'm here. Everybody thinks that I am sicker than I am. Do I look sick to you?
No, she does not. She is still alive. Her sister's spreading terrible rumors. This has dominated the news coverage. I'm sure that your show spent 3 hours on that today. But just to make sure that everyone knows, Dolly is okay.
All I know about that story is there's apparently a rift now between Reba McEntire and Dolly Parton, because Dolly said, I'm not sure Reba would be the person would be at my bedside on my deathbed.
Wow.
So there's something going on between Dolly and Reba.
I love that. A little cat fight, a little country cat fight, if you will, right?
Exactly.
But this is the story that's starting to get a little movement on the social media. You just tweeted this out. I guess Trump's having this roundtable discussion on Antifa. The Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, walks over, kind of whispers in his ear, and then there's a reaction.
Yeah, I was just given a note by the Secretary of State saying that we're very close to a deal in the Middle East, and they're going to need me pretty quickly, so I will take a couple of more questions.
So there you go. Maybe we do have. I mean, this was announced a couple of weeks ago. The terms were announced. It seems like we may have some movement on that this afternoon, Duane.
Yes. What I was hearing is earlier in the day that there was a possibility that a deal would be ready to go and announced by Thursday, but everything is very, very fluid. Marco Rubio was going to be going to Paris. That trip has been canceled, and apparently he's about ready to head over to the Middle East, along with Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. And now there's potential talk that Trump's going to clear a schedule, and he may be going over to the Middle East. He may be going to Israel on Sunday to supervise the transfer of the hostages that are released. So, I mean, this thing is really fluid. And, of course, I have no idea what's in this deal. You have no idea what's in this deal. Nobody has any idea what's in this deal except the ones that are negotiating it. And I don't trust Hamas as far as I can throw it. So all that goes into play here. But what if he negotiates this thing and they get the hostages released? I don't trust the Qatar government, but the same Qatar government now recognizes who the hegemon is in the region, which is Israel. They recognize Trump's influence, and so now they're reforming Al Jazeera and throwing a bunch of people off Al Jazeera. They treated Al Jazeera like CBS News is now going through an overhaul. So there's a lot of things happening that don't normally add up that makes you think that maybe this is a little different. So yeah, I'm willing to see what this deal is.
So what's the reaction then from the non-Jew-hating members of Congress if Trump actually gets something done here?
You see, here's the thing. If Donald Trump can actually pull this off, and it's a big if, admittedly a big if, but if he can address the nation from the Oval Office tonight and saying, well, the hostages will be here Friday. I'm going to go welcome them and fly them back on Air Force One when we go pay them a visit and sign this deal on Sunday. If he can pull that off, how small is Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, and the Senate Democrats for closing down the government? How small does that make them?
Even smaller than they are right now. Look, and that can bring us to that conversation. It doesn't seem like we're any closer, but the Democrats don't have any more leverage than they did last week. They're not going to get any more leverage. Senator Kennedy and others saying, maybe next week. I don't know exactly what they're trying to negotiate here. I mean, obviously the Obamacare subsidies are what are being discussed publicly, so they're looking for some commitment. I think Trump's going to say, yeah, look, we can talk about this, but we ain't talking about it until we pass the CR.
The subsidies that they're talking about that were, quote, temporary subsidies just to get Obamacare through the COVID years were set to expire at the end of this year, meaning end of December or November. by the Democrats who wrote the bill. They didn't want it to be there forever. So it's expiring because of the Democrats' hand, not because of the Republicans. But if it expires in November, there's no reason to shut the government down over it now, because this is what regular order is all about. That's why they have committee hearings. That's why they can haggle this out, and the two parties can come up with legislation and go through normal regular order. This whole premise is nonsense from the get-go.
This is Speaker Johnson.
There is one sad and inescapable fact that no one can forget here. This shutdown is nothing more than political cover for Chuck Schumer and the Democrats. They are worried about the Marxists flanked in the Democrat Party. The Marxists are about to elect a mayor in New York City. That's Chuck Schumer's state, and he's terrified that he's going to get a challenge from his far left.
All right, so here's Hakeem and Chuck.
A one-year extension of the Affordable Care Act tax credits is not acceptable. It's a non-starter. Like, what world are these MAGA extremists living in right now?
The bottom line is that Trump and his people are trying to threaten, use these people as pawns, and say they're not going to get paid, they're not going to get back pay, and all of these kinds of things. They realize it. So I've talked to air traffic controllers. I've talked to many, and they resent how Trump is trying to use them.
All right, so they're trying to sell it on their side, obviously. Hakeem is hilarious because he knows that no one is going to challenge him on the reality of the subsidies, so he can say stupid stuff like that.
Did you see the bit on the floor outside his office, or outside the communications office of the House Democrats, when Mike Lawler of New York confronted him?
Yes, I did. I didn't pull the audio of this, but Lawler went up. I saw some of the images. They were kind of jawing at one another, right?
They were going toe-to-toe. Now, here's the thing. Mike Lawler is a New York moderate Republican. He's fiscally conservative, but he's a Northeast, kind of a center-right moderate Republican, which the party needs if you're going to win anywhere in those North Atlantic states. You have to be a little kind of center-right and a little more centrist on social issues. So it wasn't long ago in this country when, ideologically speaking, Mike Lawler and the leader of the Democrats, whoever that is, ideologically speaking, are not that far apart. But those two were going nose-to-nose, toe-to-toe, like they were just a ring announcer and a ref away from a cage match.
Yeah. Well, you're not wrong about how, the divergence, if you will, from where common sense used to be, even if you had a Democrat in charge, and to where it is now, is just mind-boggling. Let's talk about a couple other things here that are happening nationwide. On this this story that came out a couple of days ago involving Senator Hawley and other members of the Senate and one member of Congress on Jack Smith. Now, look, one of the things, because I think the facts are important, when Senator Hawley says wiretapping, these were not phone calls that were being wiretapped, right? There were still things that are questionable, egregious here that Jack Smith is accused of conducting, but they weren't listening to the phone calls of members of the Senate. Having said that, they're tracking their movements. They're trying to see who they're communicating with, right? All of that is still questionable. And I've even heard some Democrats who have said, this is troubling.
Who's calling them, who they are calling, what location both ends of the phone are,
right,
the lengths of the call. And that's what we know now. And that's just because of a whistleblower talking to Chuck Grassley. Do we know for absolute certainty that whistleblower can verify that the actual contents of the call weren't tapped? I don't know if we know everything.
I don't think we know that yet, but that would put that into a different stratosphere, that's for sure.
Sure would.
But even the way it sits right now, look, I'm surprised.
It's still bad.
Yeah,
it's
because
still really bad.
Look, let me play that. This guy's usually crazy. Chris Coons actually says something that might make sense here.
If true, it is something I think urgently needs more investigation, and we need to better understand on what basis the cell phones of a number of senators were targeted, not to listen to their conversations, but to track who they were calling and from where, which just on the surface of it would strike me as a significant invasion of the right of senators to conduct their jobs. So this is something I think needs urgent follow-up.
What do you know? Usually he's nuts. Here's Lindsey Graham.
Just so Chuck Schumer can create this theater. It's a farce, and we've got to stop all of it.
Let me know if I heard this correctly from Senator Coons, a Democrat. He seems
Well, that was the wrong soundbite, and I apologize. That was not Lindsey Graham there.
That was not Lindsey Graham.
That
no.
was not Lindsey Graham, and that was Dana Perino. So I apologize for that. But obviously, this, they're going to continue to go back and forth on this. Do you have a sense, because the Democrats feel, I think, that the polling is on their side in this whole thing? At least they're convincing themselves of that.
Look, the polling is definitely not. I put up on X a little bit earlier today. So the Democratic Party, which polls right now at an approval rate of about 36%, historical lows for the Democratic Party. So that party is holding the government hostage, which, according to Harry Enton at CNN, 65% of Americans want the Democrats to accept the clean CR and end this nonsense. So a 36% approval party is shutting down the government against 65% of the country's wishes over an issue of largely consisting of health care subsidies and reimbursements for illegal aliens, an issue that cuts against Democrats 70-30. And the way to make this strategy work, the way they're going to achieve success in this plan, is for mainstream media, for legacy media, to carry their water and help them propel that message that it's really Donald Trump's fault. The same media, which, by the way, Gallup shows that has a 26% trustworthy index number right now. So keep it up, Democrats. This is exactly the way every single Republican candidate would want you to draw this plan up. This is just spectacular.
Duane Patterson back with us this afternoon on 97.1 FM Talk. You're out there in California. We found it very interesting, and at first I didn't think there was going to be much to this, but this news conference that took place this morning about the Palisades fire and the arrest that they made of this kid, the details are really intriguing, aren't they?
They really are, because apparently, according to reality and the real world, it's not climate change that just spontaneously combusted the Pacific Palisades.
Go figure.
It turns out that not only is this YouTube firebug arsonist responsible for setting the fire, and they've got all the evidence and details on it, but apparently he donated, although be it small donations because he's an Uber driver by trade. He donated money to both Joe Biden and Act Blue over the last election cycle, wouldn't you know?
Yeah, go figure. Another left-wing violent person. Let me ask this question. I'm going to pitch a story idea to you here and see what you think. I don't know the answer to this. Duane also produces Hugh Hewitt's show. Do you guys do sometimes, and I apologize for not knowing this, but do you do lighter, like more feature-y type stories on the show at all or not?
Oh! Now, see, now you're getting right in my wheelhouse. Does Hugh lighten up and have fun? Every once in a while he does. It's some of the best radio we ever do, in my personal humble opinion. On my Duane's World podcast, every Thursday, there is a humorist that lives up in Minnesota named James Lilacs. And I've known James for 25 years. Usually every Thursday, the second half of my podcast, we do the top 10 dumbest things said of the week. And I'll grab just the most insane things said by a Democrat and make my own personal 10
No, I've
best.
seen that, yeah. And you do write about that on Hot Air. I love that segment, yeah.
And every once in a while I'll write about it in Hot Air, but I'll play those clips for James, and he and I will cut up and go all sorts of places for about half an hour. So, yeah, we definitely lighten up and have fun.
And I knew that you had fun. I guess let me focus the question a little differently. And by the way, it sounds like someone's running a lawnmower in the background. I'm not sure what that noise is, but it's
that would be my studio where we have a TriCaster broadcast equipment that they decided to park in my office, so it sounds like I'm next to a air conditioner.
It's like a big hum or something. But here's my pitch, because he's a friend. He's going to be on my show on Friday. There's a guy named John O'Leary, and there's a movie that comes out tomorrow called Soul on Fire. And I don't know if you've seen the ads. This is a nationwide release. And it's an amazing story, Duane. John was a little kid when he set himself on fire. He should have been dead. And he's in the hospital, and the legendary Cardinals broadcaster, who also called a lot of national sports, Jack Buck, Joe Buck's father, is credited with saving this kid's life, literally, because he went to visit him in the hospital every day. And John's been a motivational speaker And, he's written a book about his story, but they finally made this into a feature major Hollywood motion picture. They filmed most of it here in St. Louis. It opens tomorrow. And if you're interested, if Hugh's interested, I could get John O'Leary because it really is a magical story, inspirational. It's the kind of story we need, especially right now in America.
Yeah, send along to me. I'd love to take a look at it.
I will do that. Duane, always great to have you on. I appreciate it.
You got it, man.
All right, take care. That's Duane Patterson. He joins us from time to time. One of the stories that I did not cover with him because I want to play the audio is this Katie Porter, former congresswoman from California who's running for governor, who got into a bit of a kerfuffle with a CBS reporter out there. That's kind of fascinating. That's coming up. Chris Kerber at the bottom of the hour talking Blues hockey. They start the season tomorrow.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Accident eastbound Olive at 141. It is blocking the left lane. And we've got plenty of volume out there, southbound 170, Olive through 64. Southbound 270, Page in pockets down through Gravois. Westbound 70, slow pockets that start Jennings Station Road all the way out through Wentzville. But it's mainly moderate volume. 6440 is a little heavier, but this is Kings Highway in pockets out through Wentzville. Now, if you're on 55, it's a slow go south of Arsenal down through Bates in the construction zone. 44 slowing at 270. But if you're headed into Illinois, no delays there. But 5570 is jammed. We've got road work in both directions east of 111, and it's causing a jam. This report brought to you by the Diamond Shop. The Diamond Shop, making St. Louis sparkle for over 100 years. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I remember this time last year because it was right around Halloween that the team from Michael's Flooring was in my home changing some flooring. I actually removed the carpeting out of my daughter's room and a guest room myself. Mike said, hey, if you want to save a little money, you can do that. You can do that as well. I didn't get any special treatment there. So if you're looking at your budget for a flooring project, keep in mind some of the removal of the flooring is something they can handle. Of course, you can do it if you want to save a little money. We put some hard flooring into some rooms that had carpeting, could not be happier about it. Plus, we did it on a budget. We gave Mike some, guidance on what we wanted to do. He had been in my house before, so he didn't come back over to, measure or anything like that. He did that eventually, but when we were picking the products out, he just sent me some pictures and some links, and I said, yeah, let's go with that, and it looks fantastic. So a couple of reminders here. If you have a flooring project, whether it's soft flooring or hard flooring, you have experts here in St. Louis with 3 great locations, open 6 days a week. They're just closed on Sundays. And the website at Michael's has everything that you could ever want. You can order some samples on there, apply for financing, get some inspiration by uploading a picture, and more. The website, igotfloor.com, from Michael's Flooring Outlet.
If you didn't know this, dryer vents are one of the leading causes of house fires in the U.S. every year. Mark Cox here from my friends at Zero Res. The U.S. Fire Protection Association suggests cleaning your dryer vent pipe at least once a year. Call your friends at Zero Res today. They've got a great offer for the month of October. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129. That's a $40 savings. And they'll give you 15% off your air ducts and your dryer vent cleaning. You can book it online anytime. That's easy at ZeroResSTL.com. Here's the great thing. Carpets, tiles, rugs, upholstery, every surface in your home can be Zero Resified. It's time to call the cleaning pros and get it done at just $129 for 3 rooms. Call 314-474-2020. Tell them you want the 97.1 special or go to ZeroResSTL.com.
If you or someone you know suffered any injuries involving a deployed airbag, you could be entitled to compensation. Morgan & Morgan has already recovered millions. Get America's largest injury law firm fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Join us for our annual Trade Day sale. Hook up your camper and join us Thursday through Sunday, October 9th through the 11th, at both of our locations at 9001 Dunn Road in Hazelwood or 971 Wilmer Road in Wentzville for barbecue, beverages, and a free trade evaluation. We guarantee at least $1,000 over the national average for your trade-in with purchase of any new RV. Your trade will never be worth more than it is today. We will have fall festivities going on all weekend. Don't miss list of fun and spooky good savings. Check out all of our new 2025 and 2026 RVs by Jayco, Keystone, Fleetwood, and Bontrager Outdoors. Mention this 97.1 ad for a chance to win a $500 gift certificate to our parts store. For 3 years in a row, we have won the best RV dealer at St. Louis Post-Dispatch Headliners. And we are your #1 Jayco fifth wheel dealer in the country. Our commitment to you starts when you enter the door. Go one better. Go Apache Village RV in Hazelwood and in Wentzville, October 9th through 11th. Trade value dependent upon condition of trade unit at time of delivery.
Fast-paced, fact-based, and never boring. This is the Mark Reardon Show.
Play a little longer than usual because I'm going to cover this Katie Porter story, but there's some new audio that's out there. So Katie Porter is a former congresswoman from California who's running for governor of California, and there's a news story this afternoon, and I just sent the audio to Ethan's Politico, and I was already going to talk about this. I'm going to play you something that happened with a reporter out in Sacramento, but a new video. Katie Porter has a reputation for being nasty to her staff. Those were some of the stories that came out earlier this year. She's apparently the front runner in the race to be California governor. So there's a new video. I'm going to see if I can flip this around if Ethan's got time to do this, blasting a staffer who interrupted a meeting that the former House member was taping for the Biden administration. And she says, "Get out of my blanking shot," after this employee comes into view. And I guess this shows an online exchange between Porter and then Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm in July of 2021. So I'm going to see if I can get that audio turned around. But this is what happened with this interview with this reporter from a CBS affiliate. And apparently the reporter was asking the same questions that she had asked Julie Watts, is her name. Maybe she's not a local Californian. She might have been a CBS News correspondent, Julie Watts. That's how she's identified. And the interview does not go well. Let's just put it that way.
What do you say to the 40% of California voters who you'll need in order to win, who voted for Trump?
How would I need them in order to win, man?
Well, unless you think you're going to get 60% of the vote. You think you'll get 60%. Everybody who did not vote for Trump will vote for you. That's what you're saying.
In a general election, yes. If it is me versus a Republican, I think that I will win the people who did not vote for Trump.
What if it's you versus another Democrat?
I don't intend that to be the case.
So how do you not intend that to be the case? Are you going to ask them not to run?
No, I'm saying I'm going to build the support. I have the support already in terms of name recognition. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to do the very best I can to make sure that we get through this primary in a really strong position. But let me be clear with you. I represented Orange County. I represented a purple area. Mm-hmm. I have stood on my own 2 feet and won Republican votes before. That's not something every candidate in this race can say. If you're from a deep blue area, if you're from LA or you're from Oakland, you don't have an experience.
But you just said you don't need those Trump voters.
But you asked me if I needed them to win.
So you don't think
I feel like this is unnecessarily argumentative.
All right, so this is where it kind of turns. Now, I'm going to take a little bit of a contrarian viewpoint on this because, look, I'm no Katie Porter fan. I think she's nasty and vile and evil Democrat, quite candidly, and she'd by far be worse than Gavin Newsom running the state of California. But when it gets a little testy here, I'll play the rest of it. The reporter did say, do you need them to win? I think she's right. She does not need the 40% of Trump voters to win that race in California. Let's face it, it's a Democrat state. But having said that, I don't think she did herself any favors in this interview because it got worse from there.
The question is the same thing I asked everybody, that this is being called the empowering voters to stop Trump's power grab. Every other candidate has answered this question. This is not
argumentative. And I said I support it.
So, and the question is, what do you say to the 40% of voters who voted for Trump?
Oh, I'm happy to say that. It's the do you need them to win part that I don't understand. I'm happy to answer the question as you have it written, and I'll answer it.
And we've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that
Well, to those voters, okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it.
So she gets very frustrated. She doesn't think that she's communicating her point. I kind of understand her point about not needing the Trump voters to win because it's California. The reporter is insistent that, look, these are the same questions that we're asking all the other candidates. And at this point, she says, I'm calling it. She looks like she's about to get up out of the chair, and they just kept rolling.
Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered our follow-ups.
I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation in which you ask me about every issue on this list.
Pleasant? Pleasant's an interesting word to use considering her tone in this.
And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there.
Ms.
And
Porter,
we're just going to circle around.
I am an investigative
I have never
reporter.
had to do this before.
Okay, well, this is where it gets ridiculous. She's never had to do this before. Reporters ask follow-up questions all the time. It happens to Carolyn every day. I mean, you shouldn't even have to ask if you should do a follow-up question because you're doing an interview with a candidate who's running for governor.
You've never had to have a conversation with
to end
a
an
reporter?
interview.
Okay, but every other candidate has done this.
What part of I'm me? I'm running for governor because I'm a leader. So I am going to make...
So you're not going to answer questions from reporters? Okay, why don't we go through? I will continue to ask follow-up questions because that's my job as a journalist, but I will go through and ask these, and if you don't want to answer, you don't want to answer. So nearly every legislative...
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you. And I don't want this all on camera.
Too late.
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you either. I would love to continue to ask these questions so that we can show our viewers what every candidate feels about every one of these issues that they care about. And redistricting, it's a massive issue. We're going to do an entire story just on the responses to that question. And I've asked everybody the same follow-up questions.
Well, you know what? When she throws in, I might approach this a little differently now because the question about the Trump voters when it relates to redistricting actually is, intriguing and interesting. But she did not do herself any favors in that interview. It doesn't matter, though. They're so crazy in California. She's probably the next governor.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads right now, on the Illinois side, a lot of volume, but just a real slowdown. 5570 east of 111 due to road work. But if you're headed into Illinois on any of the bridges, they look good. Still some slow pockets westbound 6440, Kings Highway on out through the 70 split. Same thing on 70, a slow pocket or two, Jennings Station Road on out through Wentzville. Southbound 270, slow pockets, and this one is south of Page, down through Gravois, and then it opens up. 55 is slowing right at Bates, but it's also a slow go in the construction zone a little bit just north of there. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Well, we had an awesome conversation, I think it was a week ago today, with Susan L. Ward, who is a family practice attorney here in the St. Louis area. She was in the building, so we grabbed her. She was visiting with some of the folks from the other stations. Susan spreads the love around at Odyssey St. Louis when it comes to sponsorship. She loves 97.1 FM Talk. She loves the Mark Reardon Show, and we love her. And we love her when it comes to helping you because this is a very tough area of the law. You need someone in your corner that's going to fight for what you're interested in, keep you from making mistakes. I told the story with Susan last week about before I knew her, and I was in some post-divorce issues with child support. There was an issue that came up, and I responded to an email. I replied all to the whole legal team. I was told I shouldn't have done that. So sometimes you have clients that are hard to wrangle. She's probably pretty good at it, though. I think she could have wrangled me back in the day. If you need to get a hold of them, it's easy. Call 314-783-9400, the website. And by the way, brand new office in De Pere on Manchester Road. They'd love to have you by and see the office. STLFamilyLaw.com, the focus on family law and the emphasis on you, Susan L. Ward.
Climate Masters. We specialize in older homes. Climate Masters Heating and Cooling. Trusted heating and cooling installation and maintenance service. Keeping the St. Louis Metro comfortable since 1978. Call us today at 314-968-8383. Climate Masters.
Make the most of fall and have an outdoor space that you actually love that's built to last. Lakeside Renovation and Design builds custom decks, screened-in porches, covered patios, and they use these durable, low-maintenance materials like composite decking and aluminum railings. They're going to make sure you have the perfect setup so you can host your family and friends for backyard barbecues or just sit outside and enjoy the morning coffee even when it's raining. Don't wait until the spring to start planning the space that you want to enjoy next year. Start with a free consultation. Visit lakesiderd.com, lakesiderd.com.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Is your car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My mechanic just suggested an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover repair bills if anything happens to the car. New brakes, transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait, you pay nothing on repairs? Ox gets it fixed? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance?
Yeah, you don't pay. Ox pays. Ox even has a 30-day money-back guarantee and is A+ rated on the BBB. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike those other warranty companies.
The last thing I need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-234-0633. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care. 800-234-0633. 800-234-0633. Or go to oxcarcare.com.
Welcome to Coffee House. How are you today?
Hi, great, thanks. May I get a sea salt caramel latte with almond milk, extra caramel, extra shot, iced,
Gross.
and to go, please. Did you get all that?
No, I was just ringing you up for all the extras. Can you repeat your order, please?
Oh, never mind. I'm just gonna go.
Stop paying extra for extras. Get fancy coffee without the fancy coffee price at Quick Trip. Raise your coffee bar.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
And this portion of the show is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Still leading. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
Newly appointed Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway on the show tomorrow at 4:30. Also, Senator Eric Schmitt in the 5 o'clock hour. We have our roundtable set for Friday. Jeff Rainford, Mike Elam, and also Donna Behringer, who is the comptroller of the city of St. Louis. Ethan, as you know, hockey got started this week. I was watching a little bit of the game that was on last night with the Panthers, and the Blues kick off their season tomorrow. The voice of the Blues, Chris Kerber, is back with us this afternoon. Kerbs, how are you?
Mark, I'm doing good. How are you, bud?
I'm doing really good, and I know Ethan's very excited for hockey. I can feel that there's excitement in the air in St. Louis, and there's a little difference for you because you're doing TV and radio this season. That's a change, isn't it?
Yeah, we're going to take our radio show to the TV side this year, myself and Joe Vitale, and then they're going to take the audio of that TV call, and that's how they're going to put it out over the radio. So I don't think fans are going to notice a huge difference. I think it's going to be still exciting and fun for the fans, and we're looking forward to the opportunity to really go have some fun with what I think is going to be a great team.
Are you positioned in the arena in a different way, or are you still up in the press box at the top?
It depends, where the TV broadcast position has been for the home team in St. Louis. It's been down in that front row of section 320.
Okay.
So we're going to go down there, give that a shot, and we'll see if it's different. The thing is, when Enterprise Center was built, when all those years ago, it wasn't Enterprise Center, obviously, right? But when that building was built in 94, 95, the press box seemed high compared to a lot of buildings, and it was. Well, now, when you compare it to most buildings in the league, the actual press box is lower and closer to the ice than most. So, yeah, like you're further up and you're further back in a lot of them. Like the absolute, maybe the worst building to broadcast in the entire league, believe it or not, is Edmonton now from that standpoint. So those are the changes, but our broadcast locations in St. Louis have always been pretty good.
Awesome. All right, well, let's talk a little bit about hockey, Ethan.
Hey, Chris, I actually had Ethan Hanford here. I had a quick question regarding the simulcast. As someone working into the play-by-play business myself, what have you learned about some of the differences, even some of the challenges for yourself of being able to call a game simultaneously for radio and television?
Look, Ethan, I don't think you really do anything different. And there's, first off, we got to mention the sport, okay? When you look at hockey compared to the other sports, I've been saying this to people lately, basketball, baseball, football, and hockey. Let's compare those four. Okay, hockey's the fastest of the four, by far, like by absolute far.
Absolutely.
Baseball and football each have a definitive starting point and end point to every single play for the most part, okay? Basketball, like hockey, is a bit continuous, but it's much slower. And then with the camera angles that they use because of the smaller configuration of the court, you're really on TV, you're right more on top of it. Hockey, you're not. Hockey, some of these broadcast locations or some of these camera locations where fans kind of jump up and they can get in the way. The sport is just that much faster, right? And even in basketball, when, say, the big play, the point's about to happen. You see somebody drive the middle. You see the dunk. You see the 3-point shot, right? In hockey, it could be a play across the ice, goes off the skate to somebody, quick stick, bang, it's put in the back of the net. Or it could be the same play and you get the save of the year. I just think in hockey, it's a sport that for the fan experience on television, it's enhanced by more of a traditional radio call. I was listening last night. I went back and I watched Gary Thorne call the Stanley Cup Final Game 3 in 1997, and I opened up a different tab so I couldn't see the video, and I was listening to that TV call, and I thought, okay, if this is radio, how would this sound? And you'd have been like, honestly, you knew exactly what was going on. So I think it's a lot more of a concern, honestly, for maybe some fans than it will be, and I think we're going to show fans that their experience is still going to be really good.
All right, on that front, the experience is always better when the team is good and when they're winning. And there's a lot of young talent on this team. There's a lot of potential, but this would be a year. Well, you tell me, what are the realistic expectations for this squad right now?
You know what? If the St. Louis Blues compete most of the season for one of the top 3 spots in the division, Mark, I think that's a realistic expectation. I think outside expectation is I think they can compete for a division title. If you stretch it, if some things go well, if you stay healthy, if you get some bounces there, right? But I think realistically, a team that has chased the playoffs the last few years, didn't get in for the last 2 until last year, so 2 out of the last 3 they didn't. They get in last year. I think the other real expectation is you want to see them in the thick of the hunt and holding on to a spot and defending it rather than having to win stretches of games just to get into a spot and need some help with some other teams losing. So to me, the expectations are you've got to get off to a really good start to accomplish this and then play consistent hockey through it. I think they have the coach. I think they have the veteran team, and I think they have kind of the swagger right now after last year to pull that off.
You look at this forward group, personally, I get super excited at the potential. You mentioned some of that young talent that this team has, Chris. I'm curious, in your eyes, personally, what is going to be the strength of the St. Louis Blues in 2025-26?
Well, it's going to start with their goaltending. I think Jordan Binnington and Joel Hofer, they're going to really back it up. I think, look, obviously a lot is made of Jordan Binnington as it should be, but this season I think you're going to see closer to I don't know if it'll come out to a 50-50 split or a little less than that, but I think that the nature of the games, the heaviness of this division and the schedule are going to dictate that you're going to want to keep Jordan fresher throughout the season. That means that the continued development of Joel Hofer is going to be really important. Then from there, it's down, you kind of go down the middle. You've got, just stalwart defensemen and guys like Colton Parayko and Cam Fowler and Justin Falk. And then the center ice position going from Robert Thomas to Braden Shen to Pius Suter to Nick Bugstad and Oscar Sundquist. Down the middle, it doesn't matter the sport, right? You got to have a good centerman in basketball. You've got to have a good battery in baseball. You got to have a good quarterback in football. You got to have a good down the middle in hockey too. And to me, I think when the Blues went out and found Pius Suter and Bjugstad, they were basically signaling that the regroup, whatever they wanted to call it, is over, and they're in the competitive window now. Now the key is how quickly can they get their game together coming out of the gate that allows them to really compete and push those teams for a division title.
Oscar Sundqvist, currently week to week, I believe Doug Armstrong said, with a lower body injury. For these first handful of games, is there any concern as to how they're going to handle the fourth line center, that fourth line in general, or do you feel pretty confident in what Jim Montgomery is going to have set up there?
Doesn't matter who. I mean, look, last year that WTF line was really good and really set the tone, and that's why you saw them starting games in the playoffs. The injury is unfortunate because Oscar had a healthy summer and was really good, but he does have a history of getting banged up, so I don't think anybody thought he was going to have a completely healthy year. Doug did say week to week there, Ethan, but he also said week to week is really kind of just a week, right?
Okay.
So, I don't think there's any concern, and that's why you went out and they signed what they did. I mean, Nick Bjugstad is a 6'4" big centerman in that middle that can still move, and I thought he had a really good camp. So with the speed of Toropchenko and the bulldog of Nathan Walker in the mix, that fourth line's going to be just fine. I mean, frankly, the Blues have come out of camp for the most part really healthy, except for that injury to Sundqvist, and that's a positive.
This I mean, you got to be ready to go here. What do you, about 4 or 5 months up? But this season is long, isn't it? It's like 7 months until the playoffs.
Yeah, it is. It is. The playoffs will start, April 16th, somewhere right around there. But there's going to be a 2 to 2.5 week break in the middle of the season in February because NHL players are participating in the Olympics again this year over in Italy. So it's going to be a lot of cramped games. Coming out of that break, you're going to have 20. You want to talk about an exciting stretch. 23 games after the Olympic break from there to the end of the season. That's still just over a quarter of your season that you're going to play, basically playing every other day. It's going to be a sprint. It's going to be intense. And frankly, the team that can stay healthiest and freshest is the teams that are going to come out on top.
You know, I was watching some of the ESPN coverage last night, and they were showing Alex Ovechkin, who I guess tonight starts in his, if he plays tonight, in his 21st season. I mean, isn't he like 80 years old now at this point?
Pretty cool to still be able to. And you know what, him and Sidney Crosby, like last night in the Pittsburgh game, you had Crosby, Malkin, and Letang beginning their 20th season together.
That's nuts.
Right now, we just witnessed that in St. Yeah, it is, but think about it. We just witnessed it in St. Louis with Molina and Wainwright. We witnessed 19 years together, right?
Yeah.
Now imagine if Albert Pujols had stayed with them the whole time. We'd have seen something pretty close. But here's what's crazier. Those three guys were opening up their 20th season together, right? And there's a kid named Kendall that was centering their third line that's 18 years of age, right? That's part of their roster, right? And I think they had a defenseman with Letang that was 19 years of age. So these guys were playing in the NHL when some of their teammates, weren't even they weren't even a fun night out yet.
I know.
Right?
That really is. I mean, it's impressive and crazy at the same time. Curbs, good to have you on. Haven't seen you in a while. You've been avoiding me on the racquetball court. We'll see if we can correct that into the season as well.
Well, yeah, your athleticism is really scary, Mark. I got to work up the courage to get back out there, and I'm hoping that happens.
Whatever. You're breaking up. See you later.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
Curbs.
Appreciate it.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads tonight, we've got some volume on westbound 6440. It's approaching Hampton out through McCausland. Then some slow pockets or two, but better than it was on out through 70. 70 westbound, a little moderate volume at Jennings Station Road at 141. It's really not bad. Southbound 270. Well, actually, it's slow in both directions at Ladue Road. And southbound has some moderate volume continuing down through Gravois before opening up. Southbound 55, still a little slow at Bates. And 44 westbound slow in front of the Arch Grounds. Now, we've got volume down on the Illinois side. On 5570 east of 111, we've got road work there causing pretty major delays. This report brought to you by Aspen Contracting. Is your home siding cracked, faded, or storm damaged? Aspen Contracting has the materials, manpower, and project managers to get the job done fast. Don't let your home become an eyesore. Call Aspen today for your free siding inspection. 636-465-1696. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk in St. Louis for 25 years this month. Thanks for being a part of a quarter century of engaging local talk. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Starship featuring Mickey Thomas. With John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. Shooting Star. In Missouri. Saturday, November 15th, the Family Arena. Reserved seats on sale now at the Carroll House Furniture box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. Sawyer Brown.
Some girls don't like boys like me. Oh, but some girls do.
And Lone Star.
Every little thing that you do. Baby, I'm a
Live Saturday, March 14th, the Family Arena. Get tickets Friday at noon at the Carroll House Furniture box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. Don't miss Sawyer Brown and Lone Star together live.
Fall's a great time to call my friends at Hanson's Tree Service and let them take care of your yard. Mark Cox here, 636-379-1830. That gets you to Hanson's Tree Service. They can get in and remove dead branches and take entire trees out if that's what you need. Ask one of their certified arborists to come over and take a look at your yard. Make sure there aren't pests getting ready to overwinter in your trees. They can treat for that. Call them today. Tell them you heard Mark talking about it. It's hansonstree.com.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you could get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at Progressive.com.
You're listening to The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Well, we have our big birthday party celebration coming up here in a couple weeks on Thursday, October 23rd at the Lit Cigar Lounge out in the Chesterfield Valley. It'll be both indoor and outdoor, at least we hope it will because of the weather. And we're going to do the show live from 3 to 6. The party officially starts at 5 o'clock. It's from 5 until 7:30. Now, we had VIP tickets available. They are gone. The VIP tickets have been swiped up, but still, look, that gave you a couple of drinks and a cigar and a cigar cutter, but you can still come for free. But we do need you to RSVP. If you go to 971talk.com/events, you'll see the page to RSVP. We'd love to have you that night. We'll do the first portion of the show sort of like standard, I think, and then we're going to feature some of the folks that have been on the air here during those 25 years on the show starting at 5. We'd like to thank our sponsors that make this possible: Rhino Shield, U.S. Men's Medical Center, Lore Wine and Spirits, Old Dominic Distillery, and Rayburn Wines. And again, this is 2 weeks from tomorrow. Lit Cigar Lounge, 971talk.com/events to get registered for the party. We'd love to see you in a couple of weeks.
Stand by. Playback ready.
Now, the audio cut of the day.
You know, I got to tell you, that every once in a while, it doesn't happen often, I will misjudge a story and think, oh, there's not much to that. I don't really care. So that kind of happened this morning. I was watching some of the Fox coverage, and they went to a news conference in California about the Palisades fire. We covered that extensively earlier this year, much of it with the help of Brian Ping, who is a St. Louis native who works at KNX in Los Angeles. But federal prosecutors, this is the U.S. attorney in L.A., have made an arrest of a 29-year-old Uber driver, and they say he's the one that intentionally sparked one of the most destructive fires in California history. He's now in custody with multiple charges.
He is charged with starting a fire on January 1st, which is the fire that burned down the Palisades. It did take a week to reignite, But he is charged with starting the Palisades fire. He started it on January 1st.
So there was rumor, a couple of these things can be true at the same time. So they thought maybe that the fire did start in the aftermath of fireworks that were set off on New Year's Eve. So that didn't happen, but they think it did start technically on January 1st, and then they kind of smoldered. But some of the details that they unveiled at this news conference were fascinating.
The evidence is based on, you could see some of the key evidence, including the fact that he was the only person in this location at the time this fire ignited. We have no other indication that any other person was there. There were no fireworks at the time. We have several cameras in the vicinity that are there designed to detect fires, and this fire was detected almost right away by those sensors. So there's no indication of fireworks or other things that would have started this. He was the only person there. You heard about this music video and song he would listen to, which had imagery of fires, and you could see some of his thought process in the months leading up, where he was generating some really concerning images up on ChatGPT, which appears to show a dystopian city being burnt down.
He even, I guess, and some of this is still early reporting, but he had set the fire, and then at one point allegedly had seemingly tried to go back to try to help put it out, to act, I guess, like he had nothing to do with it. Then he did take some images with his iPhone of the fire burning out of control. It's the typical situation with the neighbors who live near him, saying there's a guy who lived next to him, Peter Chang, in Hollywood for about 4 years, and he says he was actually a really nice guy. He just set one of the worst fires ever in this country's history.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Okay, well, traffic-wise, we're looking better, but we still have some volume westbound 6440 around Hampton out through McCausland. Now we've got an accident reported northbound 170 north of Delmar, and that has created a jam behind it. Yeah, that's kind of a last-minute thing here, so hopefully you're not taking northbound 170 or you're going to be caught in this thing. And it's supposed to be in the left lane. Now, westbound 70, just a little moderate volume at Jennings Station Road. Then it opens up until Highway A. It's a little slow there. Southbound 270, moderate volume at Ladue Road, and that's in both directions. We still have Manchester, especially westbound, slowing out at 141. If you're headed into Illinois, we look fine, but 5570 is jammed east of 111 due to road work. This report brought to you by Barron Mirror Glass and Door. They have the largest, most beautiful showroom in all of St. Louis. It's full of the latest, most custom designs. It's right there in Chesterfield Valley. And there you'll see why they say creativity unlimited, quality unsurpassed. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Attention St. Louis Medicaid members. If you need assistance with daily living, you can receive a free service from Freedom Care in your own home from a loved one who lives with you. With Freedom Care, you decide who provides your daily care, helping you with preparing meals, bathing, laundry, transportation, and more.
A family member or friend that gets paid weekly. This Medicaid program is available to eligible St. Louis residents.
New to Medicaid? The Freedom Care family will guide you through enrollment, making it stress-free for patients and caregivers. With over 7,000 five-star Google reviews, we've perfected at-home care for Medicaid members and caregivers. If you live in the St. Louis area,
this service is available through Medicaid, and with our InstaPay app, caregivers can choose to get paid weekly. So go to freedomcare.com now, or for faster service, call 314-697-4920.